Ladies and gentlemen, and all fans of OUA football, welcome into York Lions Field here on beautiful York University campus. My name's Griffin Porter. Joining me right here is Kyle Cushman. And folks, you've tuned in for a good one here tonight. Kyle, it goes by a lot of names. The Argo Bowl, the Battle of Toronto, the Red and Blue Bowl, and we are ready to get it underway as your York Lions take the field. Led out by one of our graduating players, Braden Hart. And Kyle, there's nothing better than rivalry football in the OUA under the Friday night lights.
Oh, it's perfect. A beautiful night outside, nice chill in the air. You know, it's October. Friday night lights. It's going to be good football here tonight. Anytime you can get rivalry action in the OUA, it's always a good time. But obviously, taking a look at the standings, it's two teams that have kind of struggled a little bit this year. U of T picking up their first win of the campaign last time out last week against McMaster. So a lot of pride on the line for these two teams coming into tonight's matchup. And should be a good one here under the lights as York wraps up the home schedule for this campaign.
That it is, Kyle, the last home game of the year for the York Lions as we begin to gather for the national anthems. All of the Lions greet a raucous crowd here. And we've got our graphic up there for you. And indeed, the last time these two teams met was September 24th, 2022 in the Red and Blue Bowl a year ago. Toronto took that one by a score of 39-7. They've won two Red and Blue Bowls in a row. They're looking to go three in a row to match the run that York went on from 2017 to 2019, Kyle. So a lot on the line, even if it's two teams out of the playoffs. U of T still technically in playoff contention.
Yeah, and it's not just kind of those kind of stats that we're looking at here tonight. One of the big things for York is just kind of scoring here at home field this season. It's something that they haven't done yet this season. They've had a lot of struggles, kind of some injuries and some inefficiency on offense. And so you look at how things went at the early part of the season, putting up 32 points. In week two, we'll hope to see if they can finish the shutout streak at home and get some points on the board here against a rival.
That's definitely priority number one. We're going to take a short break for the national anthem and then be back with the game. And all the pregame festivities out of the way. We had a lovely ceremony for our graduating York Lions. 5 members of the team moving on after this year. Braden Hart, the linebacker out of Napanee, Ontario. A couple players who won't be dressing tonight, unfortunately. Number 8, J.J. Messier, and number 4, Lerone Lindsay, also moving on from the program after this season. And then Hunter Bannon, the lineman, also out of Napanee, Ontario. And lastly, Nathan Brennan, the defensive lineman out of Beamsville, Ontario. Congratulations to all of our graduating Lions, and thank you for great careers in the York program.
Yeah, and some very good players over the course of this season as well, and over the course of their York careers. Of course, you look at somebody like J.J. Messier, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see him playing football after this season as well in some different uniforms. Fantastic player who unfortunately has been sidelined for much of the season, but when he was on the field, it seemed like literally every time he hit somebody, the ball popped out. And so obviously a fantastic career. Nice to see him at least participating in warm-ups, getting his ceremony, getting kind of that spotlight where I'm sure he would have much preferred to be on the field for tonight's game. Obviously injury issues have kind of put that to the side, and we'll hope that he's able to play some more football in his young career. And you look at some other players like Nathan Brennan, Braden Hurt, a couple of very important pieces of this defense all season long. And so we all, of course, know some of the struggles that this York team has had all season long, but it's not been because of a lack of leadership. There's been some very important seniors on this team that are getting their moment here today for the final time here at York. And we'll see what the Lions were able to do maybe one last time for their 5 seniors here today.
Absolutely. Nathan Brennan out there, one of the captains for this game, representing York on the coin toss. And we'll see York, of course, suffering an unceremonious defeat at the hands of the Queens Gales last week, just 6 days ago, since we're playing on the Friday night here tonight of the long weekend.
They nice little short week, get some Friday action here in the OUA. Gotta love it.
There's nothing better than football on a Friday.
Football on Thanksgiving weekend, too. It's just a lot to love this weekend for football. And, of course, a great rivalry game here today, again, with 2 teams at or near the bottom of the OUA standings. But that doesn't matter when you hit the field. It's going to be a rivalry game regardless of what the record or what the standings are coming into tonight's game. And I'm sure there will be a lot of passion and a lot of fun stuff to watch here tonight.
Absolutely. Even if the year doesn't end up the way you wanted, you can walk away with a smile. Or at least a part of a smile if you win the Red and Blue Bowl. And a good sign for the York Lions after he missed last week's game. Alfred Ole is back there, ready to return, flanked by Jake Barker, who did a good job in filling duties. Obviously, some big shoes.
There.
Yeah, some big shoes to fill from Ole. Doing the kick in here will be Sam Hankey. Ready to get yet another edition, the 2023 edition of the Red and Blue Bowl underway. It's Friday night football here in Toronto. The kick is up, and it does wind up in the hands of who else but Alfred Ole. We'll see what the star return man can do. He's got a head of speed, hits a hole, but is eventually swallowed up. Looked like that was number 54, Cam Grung, on the tackle. And so that'll set up Owen Webb and the York Lions offense, and we'll see what they can do today.
Yeah, Webb hitting the field. It's been a mixed bag at quarterback for both of these teams this season. Owen Webb is actually the leading passer out of both of these teams this season in completions and yards. So we'll see what the quarterback playing the passing game is like here today. But we know that this U of T defense is dangerous. That was one of the main reasons why they won last week against McMaster, was the defense forcing turnovers. We'll see if York is able to prevent that here today.
Handoff is to Melkus Alunga, and he'll go up the middle, and he'll find a hole. A late flag flies as we're already getting into some extracurriculars between the O-line and the D-line. But right now the headline is a great first down run and a strong start to the game for this York offense. But it looks like they may have been a little overzealous in their O-line play, as this one's going to be walked back.
Even if it is getting walked back, it's a great first play to kind of get the juices flowing, especially for somebody that's kind of struggled a little bit this year in Melkus Alunga in kind of the run game overall. He had 11 rushes for just 15 yards last week. So, of course, it ends up going back, doesn't count. But getting that kind of 10, 11-yard rush out of the gate is going to be nice for this offense to try and build some momentum here now on 1st and 20.
1st and 20, Webb will look to throw. Pressure is coming. He just gets it out. And off and running is Melkus Alunga once again. So a busy start to the game for Alunga. He comes all the way out to the 30. A nice catch and run by the running back. And I love that first play of the game. A successful run for the Lions. They've struggled in the run game this year, but it's a statement of intent, both in that we can run this ball up the gut and a little bit of a statement of intent on the penalty, too. We're not going to be pushed around.
No, that works out fantastically well for the Lions to get 15 or so yards, get Alunga the ball again, and set you up for a 2nd and manageable here after it looked like it was going to be tough field position.
2nd and 4 is the exact distance. And Webb will look to throw for it. Pass is caught. Number 86, Alfred Ole, showing that he gets it done not just on special teams, And the York offense picks up their first down of the game. They'll march all the way up to their own 40.
Important play there. Of course, you want to get the ball in your playmaker's hands. That's exactly what Alfred Ole is to this offense. Good to see him back on the field after not getting any action last week, and important to move the chains and not go 2-and-out on that first drive. Build some momentum here for a vital game here in the Red and Blue Bowl.
Handoff is to Ilunga. He hits the hole. That one a little better covered by this U of T defensive front. Number 97, Parker Williams, coming through to put the finishing blow on Melchus Ilunga's run. And that's the first sort of non-successful play of the day we've seen for this York offense.
Yeah, and the run a bit predictable there when you have back-to-back passing plays like that on first and long and second, and kind of manageable there. The first running play was great up the gut. They go to it again. That time is stuffed. We'll see what they can do here on 2nd and 10.
Ilunga still flanks Webb in the backfield. Ole swings out to the far side of the field. And it's just a dump off to Melchus Ilunga, and he can't haul it in. That's unfortunate for Melchus, as he may have had trouble getting to the first down, but he certainly had a few yards in front of him. But still a good-looking drive despite the eventual punt situation. And we don't have our normal punter, Nathan Walker, in the game. It's number 59, Tucker Almert, doing the punting today. So we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, and on that catch or drop, I should say, it looked like a situation where Ilunga maybe kind of expected the ball just to drop into his hands and was maybe getting a little ahead of himself looking down the field instead of getting the ball and then moving upfield.
Flag does fly here before the ball even had a chance to be snapped. It is offside against York. So Tucker Almert's job will get a little bit tougher. And Nick Green, the U of T returner, his job will get a little bit easier.
Yeah, we'll see how this kind of punt coverage goes. We know all season long it's kind of been a weak point for this York Lions team. And so after having some positive momentum on that first drive, stalled out on kind of that second opportunity, we'll see if they can pin U of T back at least and limit them to some mediocre field position.
Green catches it around the 40, makes it all the way up to the U of T 52, so it'll be a good starting field position for this Varsity Blues offense. And charging out to take his first snap of the game is Scott Barnett, the dual threat quarterback who, like you said, Kyle, it's been a sort of mixed bag at the quarterback position for U of T this year. Barnett also the second leading rusher on the team, so that's something the Lions will have to keep an eye on today.
Yeah, a couple quarterbacks on this U of T roster that aren't afraid to run the ball. And you look last week, their win against McMaster, only one touchdown came from the offense. It was the opening touchdown, a pass to Nigel LeGood. Every other point either came from special teams or the defense. So something to watch today if this offense can get moving.
Play action, and Barnett completes it, and there's a lot of room to run for the Varsity Blues as they make it all the way up to the York 30. Nigel LeGood, you spoke it into existence, Kyle, and it's a big pickup. And just as York had a good play on their first play of the game, Scott Barnett and the Varsity Blues have one too.
Yeah, top receiver on this U of T squad. Big play threat, 9 catches on the season going into tonight's game, averaging over 17 yards per catch. And with 1 touchdown on the season, it's been limited through the air in terms of the scoring from this U of T offense. He's going to be one of the key people to watch and shut down here today if the York Lions are going to have success.
Handoff this time and into the pile, but not much doing. Still moving the legs. That was Luka Stoikos who got the first down run there, and a big pride of York Lions able to take him down.
Yeah, big heavy back there, Luka Stoikos, listed at 5'11", 230. Definitely going to be a power back, looking to bruise it up the middle. 20 rushes for 72 yards on the campaign. He has had a couple of fumbles this year, so maybe some ball security to watch here today. But definitely looking to run up the gut for this Varsity Blues team.
2nd and 8 for the visitors from Toronto. Unfortunately, not wearing their blue for the Red and Blue Bowl. They're wearing white, but they got the blue pants. As Barnett looks to throw, and it is caught once again by LeGood, and he's forced out of bounds by a combination of York defensive backs in Winston Coor and Raekwon Lewis-Gibbs, but not before LeGood was once again able to pick up a first down for this Varsity Blues offense.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, LeGood, the top receiver on this Varsity Blues team. He's going to be somebody that this Lions team needs to be able to shut down if they're going to get some defensive stops here today. Already a couple of important passes to LeGood for some big yardage.
the 4th year out of Kingston, Ontario. Enjoying lots of success on this opening drive. Lines up in the slot, and a flag does fly. And York celebrates accordingly as they got the Varsity Blues to jump, and they'll turn a 1st and 10 from the 17 into a 1st and 15 from the 22. Some quick math in my head there, Kyle. And I believe I crushed it.
Impressive stuff.
So a big test here for the York Lions defense as they've been thrown on a bit so far in this drive. They will no doubt be looking to hold the Blues to a field goal in this position. 1st and 15. Handoff once again. Stoikos has a lot of room to run. Oh, he's eventually taken down, but not before he sets up the Varsity Blues on 1st and goal territory. That was Scott Bois who made that catch. We do have an injured member of U of T down on the field. That's Devin Dinsaw.
Yeah, and Stoikos this season hasn't been an explosive runner for the most part. His long coming into today was 12 yards, so a new season high on a single rush there for Stoikos, and an impressive run for somebody that had a lot of space there to work with on that rush. And this U of T team has struggled a little bit through the air. They've had 1 or 2 targets that have been effective, but for the most part has been more of a rushing team. So we'll see how things go here today, but so far have been effective through the air, and supplementing that with some rushing there on that 1st and 15 or so, and that brings up a 2nd and short as hopefully the injured U of T player is able to walk things off.
Yeah, no bones have been made about the fact that the York Lions have struggled to put points on the board for long stretches of the season, still looking for their first home points of the year, so crucial for the defense here to hold them to a field goal, as Dinsaw is helped to his feet and is walked off to a nice round of applause from both U of T and York fans here. We got a good mix of red and blue in the stands.
You would expect that for the local rivalry.
Of course. Just an easy trip up on the subway from U of T campus down at St. George. And so we're ready to get back to football here. 2nd and 1 from the 8-yard line. So not the most generous spot for Luka Stoikos.
Yeah, I thought he got the first down there.
Was a 1st and 15. Stoikos only able to get 14, but he is lined up behind Barnett once again, as Dinsaw does get to the sideline, so we're able to get back underway. Just 3 receivers and a lot of blockers in the game for the Toronto side, and Stoikos gets the ball, loses the ball, but I think that ball may have popped out and Lucas Stoikos was able to reel it back in, but he did get the first down, did not get the touchdown, was stopped just short of the goal line.
Yeah, it looked like the ball was on the ground there, at least for a moment. Helmet was on the ground as well. A bit of a chaotic play there, but the result is moving of the chains, a 1st and goal situation from about the 1-yard line, and I'm sure all those offensive linemen will stay on the field for U of T. They brought quite a bit of help at the line of scrimmage on that last play, and Lion down taking a knee. It looked like same player that might have lost their helmet on that play, so we'll see how things go there, but yeah, and an important player there as well.
That is Nathan Brennan, one of our graduating players, so hopefully not too much of an issue for him, and he's able to stay in his grad game. Torrey Snowden, the 1st-year defensive lineman, will run in to replace Brennan, and that's a new hole to be found in this York defensive line, as the absence of Nathan Brennan on this, what seems set to be a power run with Luka Stoikos. Brennan's a big, powerful presence.
I was going to say, if there's anyone you want on the defensive line right now, it's Nathan Brennan. We'll see what happens here.
Ball is handed to Stoikos. He goes up the middle and falls across the goal line for a touchdown. So York strikes first here in the red and blue bowl as Luka Stoikos and Nigel Legood combine to move them down the field, along with some nice passing from Scott Barnett. Not really much of a stop being able to put up by that York defensive front.
Yeah, impressive drive there from U of T. First score of the season for Stoikos. Moving things up the gut, power back. Showed it on that drive and showed off some wheels as well, getting in some open space. impressive drive, like you mentioned, from Stoikos and also from Nigel Lagood, getting a couple of important catches at the sideline, moving things downfield to set up kind of that red zone package where a lot of run plays.
Nigel Lagood also with the hold on that successful PAT as well. So doing it all for this Varsity Blues
Trust
offense.
his hands.
Yeah. Sam Hankey knocks it through. And so now we've got some work to do for the York Lions offense and Owen Webb, as they did look good to start the first drive of their game before they petered out. And before that, of course, we'll see what Alfred Ole can
And that's
do.
the positive takeaway, right? Like, we know how things have gone for the most part this season for the Lions. It's gotten out of hand pretty quickly in some of these games, but that's not been the case here today. You moved things on that first drive. You had some penalty trouble, moved you back. You still overcame that to avoid the 2-and-out. Had some trouble moving the ball, had a drop there afterwards, but at least you got to around midfield and kept the defense on the sideline for at least a little bit longer. Defense had some trouble stopping the Varsity Blues on that first drive, but at least there were some glimpses from the offense on that first drive to give you some confidence here. But again, some of the momentum starting to turn quickly. Need a good offensive drive here coming up and a solid return from whoever it goes to here to kind of push back and get things back in the Lions' way.
This ball is to the right side of the field, and it only makes it to the second layer. So Avante McCoy gets it, and he picks up a gain of about 5. You wonder if the Varsity Blues learned their lesson last year, as Alfred Ole set some Red and Blue Bowl records, made some history when he had a 99-yard kickoff return. That was the longest kickoff return in Argo Cup history, as well as his 194 kickoff return total yards. That was the most any player has ever had in the history of this storied rivalry.
And hey, I will say, though, kicking to Avante McCoy, it's not much better, to be fair. He's made some plays this season as well.
So 1st and 10 for the Lions from their own 33-yard line. We'll see what Owen Webb can do. He can hand it off to Malchus Alunga, and Alunga hits the hole, stays on his feet longer than he had any right to, but is still only able to pick up a yard or two on first down.
Yeah, and that's a situation where you want to get a little bit more yardage going to the run play right out of the gate, and kind of sets you up in another situation that they've seen a lot so far this season, where it's 2nd and 8, 9, 10 yards to go, and you're kind of forced to pass. I would like to see a little bit more aggressiveness on some of these first downs from this York Lions team.
Malachi Morrison will come in as an extra receiver for the passing down. Retson Daly, deep threat Daly over on the far side of the field. Owen Webb looking over the middle, and he does throw, and it's caught by Alfred Ole. A first down and much more as Ole fights his way to midfield. The slot receiver going up to get that one, and the York Lions are on the move.
Huge catch there from Ole. Found a pocket of space downfield. Moved the chains, and an impressive throw from Webb there as well. That's the kind of stuff that you want to see from this offense. They've had some success throwing the ball this season. When they've kind of gotten these situations to do so, let your quarterback toss the rock, see how things go.
Handoff to Alunga once again. He tries to bounce it outside. Met and brought down hard by number, couldn't tell if that was a 48 or a 49. It was number 49. Elialini made that tackle, the first-year Toronto native, making his presence felt in his first Red and Blue Bowl.
Hard tackle there, and again, kind of a situation that we saw just again where Alunga doesn't really get much going on first down. You're forced to pass at least 10 yards on second down. At least you're at midfield here. Gives you some options if you want to get a little bit risky, but Webb, he's shown some ability to throw the rock so far.
Play action, flung out and caught by Alfred Ole. He tries to shake off a tackle, can't do it. Only able to pick up about 5 of the 10 that he needed. So that'll set up a 3rd and 5. And it looks like Owen Webb and the offense are going to stay on the field. This is what we like to see.
I want to see this. Look, the way that things have gone this season, take your opportunities when you can get them. Be aggressive. You've got 3rd and at least 5 or 6 here, but you're in U of T territory. Take advantage of it. See if you can get the chains moving. They've thrown the ball well.
York needs to get to the Blues 44, and Webb will look to throw it there. Pressure coming, does get it away. Oh, but tackled.
That's going to be close.
Short. Looks
That's
like
going to be close.
Just short. It was Avante McCoy who made the catch, and they are going to spot it at the 45, and the U of T offense will take the field. So just a yard short for Avante McCoy and the Lions offense. That was a great bit of tackling by the Blues D.
And look, you can look at that situation. You can say, third down, don't need to risk it this early in the game. But we've seen how the season has gone, where you need to take advantage of the opportunities. You come up 1 yard short, you give the ball to U of T at their own 45. Honestly, that's not a bad turn event. I will take that every day of the week to at least go for it, have that aggressive process, and see how things go. So over the course of the season, we've seen some bright spots from this Lions team, but I think that they've let games get away from them early on by maybe being a little too conservative. I like going aggressive here in this important game, in a rivalry game, because again, U of T get the ball in a decent spot here from the 45, but it's not like you're giving them the ball at your own 45 or own 35 or whatever. I like going for it on third down here. Be aggressive throughout today's game and see what you can make it of it.
Yeah, still plenty of room for this Lions defense to work with, of course, as we make it through the media timeout. Less than 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter. 5 minutes and 49 if you're the type who want me to be specific. And Scott Bannon, after a very successful drive number 1, we'll see what he can do on drive number 2. Scott Barnett, pardon me.
Yeah, and so far we haven't seen Barnett be forced to run the ball at all. It's something that they've done quite a bit this season with both quarterbacks. Things were going through the air, especially to look good. Things were going good on the ground.
Yeah, Lucas Stoikos was handling it.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how things go on this drive if they mix things up a little bit. But, hey, it was working very well on that first drive.
Stoikos back there with Barnett. Receivers go, and Barnett throws. Nice caught by number 13, Jake Oseen. That'll bring up a second and short for the Varsity Blues.
Yeah, nice little grab out there. Again, something that we're going to have to watch throughout the day, whether U of T kind of sprinkles in this throwing game a little bit more, whether they go to the ground game, second and short here. You would imagine one of the big heavy backs are going to get involved here, probably Lucas Stoikos. We'll see if the Lions are able to stop it here on second and short.
2 yards to a fresh set of downs for Toronto. And the ball does go to Stoikos. Stoikos gets his 2 yards, but not much more. There's a little bit of pushing and shoving between Sterling May and one of the members of the Blues offensive line, but nothing more comes of it, except for a first down for Toronto.
Yeah, and a tough hit there. Braden Hart, the senior, final home game here at York. Knowing what's coming right up the gut, not afraid to go up there and make the big, hard tackle, of course. Did move the chains, but didn't get much more than that.
Nathan Brennan is back in the game on that defensive line for York, so happy to see that, of course. It's just a 3-man front for the Lions on 1st and 10. And Barnett looks to throw. He looks deep. He's got a man caught and eventually tackled. But what a nice catch by Christopher Joseph. And what a nice throw by Scott Barnett. And he has looked locked in so far in this one.
Yeah, perfect throw there to find Joseph. And he's been a bit of a deep threat this season. Has the season-long play of 60 yards for U of T, just the 6 receptions on the season, but 103 yards on the campaign, averaging over 17 yards per catch. Didn't have any receptions last week against McMaster and making an impact here early in the first quarter with a nice grab over the middle to set things up at just past the 30.
Barnett hands it off to Stoikos. Lucas Stoikos up the middle. Did run over a member of that York Lions defense. I think that was Dexter Sargent, who got ran over, but hey, held on to the foot. That's a tackle.
Yeah, and that's something, to watch here today, where the run game has been really difficult to stop for this York team this season. And if a big heavy back like Lucas Stoikos is going to be able to pick up 5-6 yards per carry, it's not going to end well. So we'll have to see if they're able to stop the big heavy back. And on second and medium, it's probably going to be another carry for Stoikos.
2nd and 4. Barnett shows the ball to Stoikos. Stoikos doesn't want it. Barnett's going to run. This is what we talked about, but he's taken out before he can get there. Nice coverage by number 20 for the Lions, Kirill Nari, who has had a great season. The second leading tackler on this York squad closed that gap and did not let Barnett get the edge.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the planned play or if there was some confusion there, because it was a bit of a delay, looked almost like a play action at a moment, then all of a sudden Barnett took off. So if that was a bit of confusion, a good job by Barnett to just take off and try to get something. If that was the planned play, I think you're getting a little too cute there if you're U of T and they have to settle for a field goal attempt.
It's a 31-yarder for Hankey. See what he does. He puts it up. right down the middle for not for Alfred Olay. He wanted it to be for him, but instead it's 3 points for the University of Toronto Varsity Blues as they make this a 2-possession game, and now York is going to need a response.
And you know what? The way that U of T's offense was looking there, I think you've got to be happy to at least let them settle for a field goal there. They were moving the ball very well, and either a play kind of blew up in their own face or just maybe too cute of a play call ended up being a third down situation, and now the York Lions get to take over from the 35 and an offense that was looking good through the air. I hope we see some more of that aggressive air raid.
Owen Webb, no doubt, hoping to see more of it as well. And he does look to throw. Webb has Retson Daly out wide. Quickly tackled. But it's a nice gain of about 4 on first down for the York Lions, and it's nice to see Retson Daly get involved.
Yeah, and great to see Daly involved, of course, but even you just compare that to the last drive where the first 2 plays of their first down conversion started with a run, went nowhere. It's a lot more manageable than need to go 4 or 5 yards on second down than trying to get all 9 or 10. So a nice play there and gives them some options to run the game run the ball if they want to get aggressive with it or go back through the air. And of course, an empty backfield here, so I think we know which way it's going to go.
Yep, Ilunga, one of the receivers out wide. Webb looks to throw. And he has Melkis Ilunga. Oh, the ball just comes out at the end, and they do say incomplete pass. Ilunga definitely had that for a minute, but wasn't able to control it all the way in the eyes of the officials.
Yeah, it couldn't come down with that one. Not sure if it popped out when he hit the ground or whether
so.
It was coming out before that, but that's a tough one there. Ilunga was open, a great drive there to find some open targets from Owen Webb, doing some nice stuff through the air. Just an unfortunate one not to get the conversion.
Yeah, we haven't really seen Melkis Ilunga as a pass-catching back used a ton this year, but they've gone to it a few times today, and aside from that unfortunate drop, it's worked fairly well for the most part. As Almert gets ready to punt and does boot it away. Green on the return, hauls it in cleanly, but he's quickly met and hauled to the ground. Now that's some good punt coverage.
That's what you love to see from the Lions side. They've had some struggles in the coverage game this season. You don't give up the no yards penalty, and you make the play on a dangerous return or impressive stuff, and you give U of T not great field position starting from about the 34-yard line. Gonna have to move the ball a little bit. They've done it so far on the offensive side for the Varsity Blues, but that's a good momentum builder for this defense.
So 1st and 10 for the 34. York Lions crowd starting a chant of defense to support their boys in red, and it is a handoff. It's not Lucas Stoikos this time. It's number 8, Adam Williams, fighting for about half of what he needed.
Yeah, and Williams kind of giving you a lot of the same in terms of the type of running back, 5'10", 210. Going to be a heavy back up the gut again as we're coming close to the end of this first quarter, and I think all things considered, it's been a pretty solid first quarter for the Lions to at least still be in this game and give you some glimpses of some impressive stuff.
Yeah, we've had a lot of first quarters where the game was further out of reach than this. As 2nd and 5, Barnett looks to throw, and he does look deep, and it is caught successfully and taken to the ground by Jake Oseen. That's his 2nd catch of the game. The receiver out of Vancouver.
And Nigel looked good there, had a step looking deep, wasn't able to find that target, instead checks it down a little bit over the middle, still moves the chains in an impressive passing play there as, again, U of T kind of at will have been able to do whatever they want, basically on the ground or through the air. Really the only play that's been stopped so far is the quarterback run from Barnett.
Last play of the first quarter coming here. And it is a play action, and Barnett will try and run. He's spied and hit once, hit twice, and brought down the 2nd time. No gain. The York Lions celebrate, and we're going to take a quick break in between quarters. You're watching the Red and Blue Bowl under the Friday night lights here on OUA.TV.
It's grand game, all caps. One lucky winner will get a prize pack with a $50 gift card to the online prize shop. Pretty cool. You must be following York Lions Instagram to win. We also have a halftime obstacle course, so keep up with that. And go Lions!
Second and 10 as we get the second quarter underway after no gain for Barnett on his first run. And the pressure comes. Scott Barnett escapes. Now he's got the first down in his sights and more. Barnett eventually gets out of bounds, but the York Lions brought the pressure. They almost were able to get to Scott Barnett, but we see the wheels on display.
Yeah, great blitz there. Dexter Sargent coming in hot. And just when a quarterback has some of those wheels sometimes, you bring the pressure and they're able to escape it and have a good play come out of it. We've seen them stop the kind of designed runs a couple of times, but when you've got a mobile quarterback like that in Barnett, they can make something out of nothing. A good job by the quarterback there to move the chains and keep this drive going on an important play at the start of the second quarter where that could have been an easy way to give the Lions some momentum off the top. A second down and 10, easy to give that up, especially with the pressure that was right in his face there. But instead move the chains and set you up well in York Lions territory.
Theo Brown went down to a knee for the York team as he makes his way to the sideline. Jogging off, though, so hopefully nothing too bad. May have been an equipment malfunction, actually, as they're looking at his helmet with a member of the equipment team. So hopefully no injury there for Theo Brown, and he does look ready to come back in the game.
Good to see.
And so we'll have a 1st and 10 after the big gain from the Blues. So 1st and 10. And it's once again Adam Williams, the running back for the Blues, but he's in there to block as Barnett looks to throw. He was hit as he threw, but oh, what a completion for the touchdown. A picture-perfect throw by Scott Barnett to Christopher Joseph. And Joseph makes the diving catch right at the goal line. Just got a step, and Barnett hit him perfectly.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful play. The Varsity Blues brought in the extra protection. They only had 3 wide there, plus the back, and designed the entire way for Joseph to go downfield, get to the end zone, get that ball to him. Pressure was coming in the face of Barnett. He gets that ball off, beautifully placed, right where Joseph can make the play, and that's his first score of the season. The deep threat makes it work again, and an impressive play there from the Varsity Blues to bust us out to a 16-0 lead.
Yeah, that is a backbreaker for the York Lions from 2nd and 10 with Scott Barnett surrounded to giving up a touchdown just a couple plays later. A big, big momentum swing in this ball game.
And hey, you know what? It's something where the defense has given you some decent stuff this season. They've still got you in a situation where you're in this game at the start of the second quarter, which is something that hasn't necessarily been the case this season. Let's see what this offense can do and maybe get something going for this defense that has shown well at times this year.
There's some jawing after the successful PAT. The Varsity Blues maybe not happy with the pressure that the Lions brought. And now a big, big gut check time for Owen Webb and the York Lions offense as they are staring down a 3-possession game. They need to put together a sustained drive and at least try and get into field goal range here.
Yeah, you need to score points on this drive. The way that things have gone, you've shown enough bright spots on offense. You need to link these plays together. The passing game has looked very strong in today's game. Really, this could be a completely different game if you don't have a couple drops there from Malchus Alunga. So I'm very interested to see how this next drive goes if they keep going to this passing game, because that's what's been working so far today. Need to get some points on the board, whether it's a field goal, whether it's a touchdown. can't let this game get away from you, given how many bright spots there are in today's game versus how it's been all season long. You need to take advantage of that here in the final home game of the season in a rivalry game.
Yeah, it's already the best York has looked on offense at home this year. They need to put it together right now, or else this game might get out of hand. Just 37 seconds into the second quarter. There's a deep kick in the direction of Alfred Ole. We'll see if he can make some magic happen as Ole brings it to the middle, but then, the ball comes out and does look like it is recovered by the Lions. Referee signals so quickly, so a bit of a scary moment for Alfred Ole as he brought it up the middle, as he likes to do, but that ball definitely came out, but some heads-up play. I wasn't sure if it was Ole who recovered his own fumble, or it looks like it may have been number 84, Theo Mardikis, on the special teams unit who
Yeah, I don't think the York coaching staff cares too much who jumped on it, just that somebody did jump on it. That's a dangerous play there to have the ball come out in that situation. That would have been a big backbreaker. Instead, of course, it's not great field position from your own 20 or so, but still gives you a chance to at least do something offensively.
Yeah, at least you have the ball. We'll see what Owen Webb can do with it. Lions throwing on first down. Webb complete to Retson Daly. And this is what you love to see if you're a York Lions football fan. Retson Daly with the ball in his hands, making something happen, in this case, a first down.
Yeah, we're used to seeing Retson Daly as a deep threat, but they've gone to him a couple of times on some of these short, quick passes, and he's been able to get some yards after catch here. Some good stuff from Daly.
It's like you said with Ole. He's a playmaker. As Dane Yazdebski stepped up to that one just to make sure that it wasn't intercepted. Both players sort of playing defense on that one.
Yeah, and you look back to last week, U of T had 2 pick sixes. So this is an aggressive, that's aggressive. They jump up on plays. You need to get that ball out quick if it's going to be one of those short passes like that. You kind of have to throw that ball before your receiver even turns. And so it sets up a second down, but they've been aggressive throwing through the air and have been confident doing so and have been able to move the ball pretty well.
Yeah, there were visions of a pick six on that one as there is an interception. Webb with a bad pass that is picked off and returned. Once again, Kyle, I think you spoke it into existence. Luca Pante scores the touchdown for the Varsity Blues, and that is just about the worst result possible for this York Lions squad.
You just can't make that throw. It's a situation where if that's the first read, you got to look to at least the second or third read, where complete blanket coverage. You've got a man on him. You got a man jumping the route as well. I understand at second down you got to get something going, but that's worst case scenario, giving them another pick six. That's the third in 2 weeks for this U of T defense, who were doing some really good stuff in the secondary. And like you mentioned, Luca Pante there jumping the route and adding his name to the list of U of T defenders to pick up a touchdown this season.
It's the 10th interception of the year for Owen Webb in his first year as a full-time starter for the York Lions team. So lessons being learned here as that PAT does clear the fence, bounces onto the road. We love to see it.
There it is. And yeah, you look at this Varsity Blues defense. That's now 9 interceptions on the season and 4 fumble recoveries. So this is a defense that's been able to turn the ball over. It's something that we knew coming into today's game. It's why they won last week against McMaster. It was something that the Lions were going to have to limit in today's game. They had done that through the first quarter, but an unnecessary risk there on that second down and long, where the passing game has been good today. They've gotten men open. They've gotten guys open quickly and made those throws, but that's just a throw where Webb has to look to a different option. You can't try and force it into that window. That was an easy pick six there for Pante.
Indeed, it was, and Pante made it look easy. We do have Braden Jupe throwing some warm-up tosses on the sideline, so we'll see if maybe the Lions are thinking about a quarterback change, as we do have one of the Blues, Devin Dinsaw, once again making his way slowly to the sideline, so hopefully all right with Devin.
Yeah, he was down for a little bit earlier in today's game, so hopefully just something minor he's trying to play through and nothing too serious.
Hankey ready to kick it away. And he does send it to Alfred Ole once again. So Ole brings it up the middle with a good head of speed. Finds a hole, now bounces it all the way outside. Alfred Ole's got room to run. Hankey, the last man to beat, he gets around him. But Alfred Ole was able to slow it up just enough for Cam Grung to get there. But that A little bit of Alfred Ole magic maybe to set this team in the right direction.
There is a flag down at about the 20-yard line. We'll see what the call is there. But regardless,
that would be unfortunate.
Regardless, that's exactly what Alfred Ole can do you on the kickoff, where he can bounce it out wide. He can throw it up the middle. And definitely the two sides of it on his return game, where the previous return tried to do a little bit too much and ended up fumbling it. They did recover it. This one bounced it out wide, looked good, but this one's going to come back quite a ways.
Yeah, holding penalty against the York Lions brings it all the way back to the 10-yard line.
That's a tough swing. It's a tough swing.
Good field position. No more. Owen Webb with just 100 yards to pay dirt. And he'll try and get them 10 at a time. Ball is handed off. Ilunga bounces it outside. Melkus Ilunga's got some room. Oh, tripped up, but does get to the first down. So a nice run by Melkus Ilunga to get this drive started on a good foot.
Massive rush there from Ilunga. He'd struggled a little bit the last couple of rushes. Started out off well. It got taken back because of the holding call. But very, very impressive there by Ilunga. To shiftiness up the middle, make some people miss, and going from the 10-yard line to at least the 20, that opens things up a lot more for this offense to try and get something going.
So 1st and 10 for the Lions, and it's a handoff once again to Ilunga. He has Blues all over him in the backfield, and there is a flag. That's going to be an illegal tackle against the Blues. We'll see exactly what the version of a legal tackle it was, and it is a horse collar tackle, so a little more momentum as the Lions at the very least are now well out of the shadow of their own goalpost.
And get bailed out a little bit there. They tried shifting the defense to the far side of the field, putting a bunch of receivers out wide and running it back to the other way. It didn't work whatsoever, but you get bailed out with a big penalty there. And again, moving the chains, you don't really care how it happens, just as long as you move up the field. And again, not only is it good to keep the offense of the field, obviously, because you want to score points, but it helps out your defense as well to get a breather, and that's been one of the snowball effects this season. So good to see this offense stay on the field for a few drives.
Webb with no running backs and instead dumps it off to Daly once again. Retson Daly breaks one tackle, but then there's about 9 or 10 other members of the Varsity Blues. Maybe I exaggerate a little bit, Kyle, but not too
Only
much.
by a little bit. I think basically everybody except for the safety was in on that tackle. But again, nice to see Retson Daly getting involved here in some of the short yardage stuff and some of the passing game, and sets up in a 2nd down, and we'll see how things go. Again, probably going through the air with a 2nd and 8 kind of situation.
Yeah, Daly already with more looks, as he's usually on the deep routes, as you said, Kyle, but we're seeing the ball sent to him more than we have at any other point at home this year. Webb with pressure on. He didn't see him coming. Oh, Owen Webb was absolutely lit up, and he is down. We're going to step away for just a moment while the York medical team tends to Owen Webb. We'll be back in just a second. So Owen Webb is able to make his way to the sideline, and of course we hope for health first and foremost for the York starting quarterback, as he was hit clean but very, very hard by Ryan Stewart, the 3rd leading tackler in the OUA by tackles per game. Picks up a massive one, and that'll force the Lions to punt. Almert gets it away. It's a short kick. Takes a bounce in the York direction, and Green picks it up and is forced out of bounds after a gain of not too much. So the punt coverage has looked good today for the York Lions, Kyle.
Yeah, definitely much improved over what we've seen at some points this season. But my goodness, what a hit there on Owen Webb. And that's just a tough situation where you got more people blitzing than you do blockers. And it's a situation where you knew they were going to be passing on a 2nd and long. Owen Webb did not see the hit coming. And Ryan Stewart, one of the best tacklers in the OUA, like you mentioned, 3rd in tackles per game, 5th in total tackles, and just a monster hit. Like you mentioned, clean, so good to see that. Nothing nefarious by any means, but my goodness, an absolutely massive hit there, and definitely one that takes a lot of air out of your sails.
Owen Webb is heading down the tunnel to the York locker room here with 10 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the second quarter. We'll see what his opposite number, Scott Barnett, can do with an empty backfield. Barnett looking to throw. Lions pressure coming. Barnett escapes, gets the throw away. He's got a man wide open and caught. One man left to beat, cutting back, gets around another, and touchdown. Jake Oseen makes something out of nothing, as does Scott Barnett. And wow, one play to the house. Barnett to Oseen, both sharing equal credit on a fantastic touchdown.
Yeah, great patience from Barnett there. Could have elected to take off himself, could have elected to throw the ball away, but instead, with pressure in his face, had a Lions defender with a hand on him, gets away from it, throws on the run, and picture-perfect pass to Oseen, who kind of does the rest with some open space to work with, making a couple men miss. But very, very impressive stuff from Barnett there, who's kind of struggled a little bit through the air this season. Not so much today. He's looked very, very solid.
No, he's looked excellent today. Jake Oseen did a good job of getting open, knowing his quarterback just needed someone to get the ball to, and he was able to shake his man completely and then shake a couple more for good measure.
Yeah, no kidding. No, in a very, like you mentioned, very impressive stuff from Oseen there. But again, that's a situation where a lot of quarterbacks, I think, especially quarterbacks without kind of the mobility that we've seen from this U of T team, would just kind of throw the ball away or just take the sack or whatever it is. But Barnett extends the play, makes the good pass on the run, which is difficult to do as well, coming across his body back towards the near side of the field. Very impressive stuff from the U of T offense there. One play, get it all done, send the defense back out there.
Exactly. The York Lions defense not going to be too tired after that touchdown drive, at least.
Oh, at least they'll get a breath.
Sam Hankey, who's had an excellent day, gets ready to kick it away. Kick it away he does. Alfred Ole on the other side of the field still finds a way to get the ball. And Ole finds a hole once again. Alfred Ole up the sideline, past the 40. No flags on the field this time. Oh, there is a flag on the field, Kyle. Oh, my God. That would be unfortunate, to say the least, if another great return by Alfred Ole was wiped out. At least this one was farther up the field.
We just pretend like it's not there, right?
No one's looking at it yet.
We're walking it back now.
Yeah. Oh, just nothing going the York Lions' way.
That's a gut punch.
After a good-looking first quarter, this second quarter, we're not even 5 minutes in. The Varsity Blues have scored 21 points, if my math is correct, and my memory is correct.
Big math day for you.
Yeah, I've been doing some math games on my phone.
Nice,
Nice.
nice.
I've been training the brain.
Cool math games by chance?
No, this is. I don't want to give out free press.
I mean, fair enough. I don't know. I don't even know if the site exists anymore.
Yeah.
I used it when I was like 14.
Yeah. Braden Jupe into the game, looking to throw, just cannot connect, but a late flag does fly. Avante McCoy just had to dive for that one, but it sailed a couple yards wide. And so it's our first look of the night at the true first year out of British Columbia, the 6'7" quarterback, Braden Jupe.
Yeah, and we've seen him mix into this game into games over the past few weeks. It's been a little bit up and down. Last week he had the big play, 40-yard one to Yuzdebski, and been a little bit inaccurate so far this season. Kind of some of the short passes have been a little bit errant, and now on second down, kind of being forced to throw. It's a tough position to get thrown into the game for.
Jupe looking to pass once again. Pressure coming. Jupe just gets it away, and it is caught on the screen of Melkus Alunga with room to run, trying to get to the sideline, and eventually he does. Nice run on the screen from Melkus Alunga. And once again, we're seeing Melkus Alunga as a veritable pass-catching option here for this York Lions offense.
Yeah, great job by Alunga to get into the open space, follow his blockers, not get ahead of them, and move the chains. But I want to say equally as impressive and kind of underratedly on that play, the patience from Braden Jupe as a first-year freshman coming into the game after just seeing the starting quarterback leave in the way that he did, with two guys in your face, to remain calm, let the pressure come to you, and get that screen pass off. That's impressive stuff from the true first year.
Jupe looking to throw again, and that one just out of the reach of Alunga. Melkus Alunga did have a step on the linebacker that was in coverage. That was Ross Stewart, who was marking the running back, but just couldn't connect on the throw.
Yeah, and that's some of the stuff that we've kind of seen Jupe kind of struggle with so far this season. Some of the short yardage stuff coming to the sideline, some of those kind of awkward plays to the flats or some crossing seams and stuff like that. He's had a little bit of accuracy issues in some of those regards, so that's going to be some stuff for him to work out as, again, a very, very young quarterback here in the OUA getting an opportunity. But again, sets up a second down. We'll kind of see what the play call is, and again, empty backfield. We'll see what Jupe can do.
Indeed we will. Jupe under heavy pressure, tries to shake the man, see if they say he got that throw away. But either way, it's going to be third down. It's either third and long or third and very long for the York Lions.
Yeah, and Jupe just no chance on that play. Two defenders immediately in his face. They do call that one a sack. So coming back even further on the punt for Tucker Almert. But yeah, tough situation for Jupe to come into the game. In that situation, missed a couple of short throws, makes a nice play on the screen, but no chance to move the chains on that second down.
Yeah, the ball comes all the way back to the 15-yard line from the original line of scrimmage of the 32. So 3rd and 27, in case you were thinking about a fake, Kyle. Tucker Almert does get the punt away from the goal line, almost blocked, but just able to get it across. Bounces off of Green. He's immediately swarmed by Sterling May and others. Scary moment there for Nick Green as that ball bounced off his chest before he was able to reel it back in.
Yeah, dangerous play there where a bit of an awkward bounce that he wasn't expecting. Had to kind of run up on the ball and maybe overran it a little bit, get that awkward bounce, hits you. As soon as it touches you, it's fair game for everybody else. Good job by York to avoid the no yards call in that situation as well, and good job by Green to hold on to the ball. And again, U of T sets up with good field position to start here just shy of the 45.
Got Barnett. And back into the game is Stakos, as he gets nothing much on that one. Or Stoikos, pardon me.
Yeah, and that's kind of the running that we've seen mostly from Stoikos so far this season. He's busted out some bigger runs here today, but for the most part, his season has kind of been running it up the guts for yard 2, sometimes 3. Kind of sets up a second and medium situation, 6-7 yards to go for U of T. And again, they've kind of been able to dictate whatever they want so far today from the offensive side, and we'll likely see Barnett throw here.
2nd and 7, and Barnett does indeed look to throw, as Kyle Stradamus predicted, and that is caught by LeGood. He's got a man to beat, can't beat him, and the very late block, the York Lions are saying they have the ball, as there were some late hits thrown, teams acting as if the ball was fumbled, but I didn't see it come out. And they do say Varsity Blues hang on to the football, so it may have come out as LeGood hit the ground and was just blocked from our vantage point. Kyler, maybe you saw something I didn't with your eagle eyes.
Yeah, I didn't quite see if the ball did come out. Of course, with kind of the reactions, you kind of figure that the ball came out in some capacity. But regardless, it is U of T ball and another nice completion to LeGood there. And a good open field tackle, though, by the York DB. But again, U of T kind of doing whatever they want on offense.
Hand off to Stoikos. Lucas Stoikos bounces off a tackler, and he eventually is tackled, but boy, oh boy, does he make those tacklers work to bring him down.
Yeah, good stuff on the run play there, and wasn't much going up the gut, and bounce it outside and move the chains again.
Just looking at some of the record books, the most passing touchdowns by a quarterback in a red and blue bowl is for David Hamilton and Simon Nassar, both for the University of Toronto in 2008 and 2013, respectively. Going off the top of my head, I know that Scott Barnett is already at 2 at least, and I'm trying to remember if he's had 3.
I think it's 2.
I think it's 2. Unfortunately, we don't have the live stats ready just yet, and Barnett,
Oh,
there's 3.
there it is.
Jake Oseen with his multiple touchdown game now. I believe that's his second.
Yeah, number 2. Is it 4 now? I can't.
There was
We'll have to do some catching up here.
Yeah.
It's at least 2 for Oseen for sure.
At least 2 for Oseen, at least 3 for Scott Barnett, and it's at least a lot.
Because
For the
we got
UFT
the
Varsity
2
Blues.
for Oseen, we got the 1 for Joseph. I don't think that there's any other.
I think that's what we're looking at right here. Yeah, so 3 very nice passing touchdowns for Simon
impressive
Barnett.
stuff
So
from Barnett.
bonus points for him in that category, and now just 1 throwing touchdown away from matching red and blue bowl history. We have had it confirmed it was 3 indeed. So Scott Barnett with
good
his
memory.
yeah.
Look at us go.
We've
figured it out.
been
We
watching the
figured
whole
it out.
game. Scott Barnett with his eyes on a little bit of school history as we've still got 6 minutes left to go in the second quarter, and that's media timeout time. So we're going to take a quick break and be back in just a few seconds. And just like that, media timeouts come and go, but football is forever. As Hankey put everything he had into that one, stumbling and falling after the kickoff. And Alfred Ole runs it out to the 30, and I'm not going to say a word about the flags.
By saying no words about the flags, isn't it kind of
I
saying
said
about it?
nothing about the flags. If that's all right with you.
I'm on board for whatever.
We're going to get a bit of a fun atmosphere here up in the press box as we've hit 38-0 with 5 minutes 54 seconds left to play in quarter number 2.
At least we got some stuff for the record books today.
Yes, well, not quite. Not quite. Scott Barnett
Hey,
still got to
match
go
it
out
at
and
least to
impress.
get your name on the sheet at least.
Yeah. He's 1 away from tying, 2 away from winning. If you're wondering about some other records,
Oh, here we go.
Oseen's scored 12 points on his 2 touchdown catches. The record for most points in a game was by a single player was 25, set by Lance Chomik in Toronto in 1983. Apologies to Lance if he is tuning in, and I'm almost definitely just pronounced his last name.
And Andre Dury as well.
Andre Dury, of course, the York and Canadian football legend. 2003 scored 25 points in a single red and blue bowl.
Some impressive stuff, getting that many scores.
Absolutely. Lance Chomik did that in 1983 by kicking 7 field goals over the course of the game.
With a long of 44 as well. Getting the
Nicely
leg
done
going.
there for Lance. And it did work out well for the U of T as they won 49-7. In this game, meanwhile, Braden Jupes looking to throw. And throw he does into the U of T bench. So that'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and that's a very tough throw, kind of running to the far side as a right-handed quarterback there and throwing on the run, trying to find a man on the sideline, coverage there intended for Daly. And again, it's a tough situation to be thrown into for Braden Jupe. It has been a situation kind of the last few weeks where they've kind of gone back and forth between quarterbacks, so I'm sure he prepared as if he was the starter for today's game. But again, a difficult situation to be thrown into, given the way that Webb left the game and kind of the score that you're stepping into.
Jupe has certainly had plenty of action this year, and he's looking to throw again on 2nd and 10. He's got a man deep, a little too deep, picked off by the U of T Varsity Blues. That was Antonio Conti who pulled that one down, the second-year DB out of Vancouver, BC. And just like that, we're going to see Scott Barnett again.
Yeah, and what is that? 10 interceptions now on the campaign for this U of T defense, doing some impressive stuff, especially the last couple of weeks. Not just the 3 pick sixes, but getting some interceptions across the board. This is a defense that has been aggressive, has been very capable of jumping routes and forcing turnovers, some fumbles as well this season, and in a season that maybe hasn't gone up to what U of T expected with one win coming into this game. Definitely some bright spots defensively over the course of the season.
Yeah, some real ball hawks on that Toronto defensive unit. Barnett looking to throw. He's looking deep. Pass is caught by number 2 for the Blues. That's Matthew Westover, his first catch of the day. And he falls out of bounds, but it's a first down and it's putting the Blues in dangerous position once again if you're a York Lions fan.
Yeah, and Westover just the 1 reception for 5 yards coming into tonight's game as the freshman. Big target there, listed at 6'6". So nice to see at least, again, some of these situations where the game starts to get out of hand. Gives an opportunity to some young players to make an impression earlier in their OUA careers. A nice grab there to get open for Westover.
Stykhuis runs it up the middle. Picks up a few yards in a cloud of dust.
Yeah, just a solid run up the middle, which we've come to expect from this Varsity Blues team, game in, game out, and sets up a second and about 5.
Second and 5 is exactly correct, Kyle. You've got a great eye for yard lines.
I can count. What can I say? Not very high, but I can count.
At least to 5. We know that for sure. So we'll see what Scott Barnett wants to do on second and 5. Stoikos behind him once again. Now goes out wide. Barnett with no running backs. Just offensive linemen and a throwing arm and a pair of running legs. Eventually he does decide to throw, and it bounces, and it is intercepted! A team interception. It's number 3, Raekwon Lewis Gibbs, who comes down with it. And the York Lions show the U of T Varsity Blues a little bit of their own medicine. I believe that was Avante McCoy who knocked that up in the air for the first time?
I'm not entirely sure, but at the very least, hey, that's why you practice tip play. You never know what's going to come on some of the situation. Probably should have been caught on the first one, but regardless, you got your man behind you to back it up, and a great job there by Lewis Gibbs to force the turnover. Of course, it's very poor field position starting from your own 5, but you know what? The way that this game has gone, getting a turnover, getting a stop there, that's a lot to like from the defensive side.
Absolutely it is, as we barrel down on 3 minutes left to go here in the first half. First and 10 from their own 5 for the York Lions. And the whistle does blow for what appears like it might be a delay of game penalty, and that's exactly what it is. So half the distance to the goal, and now the Lions will have first and 12 and a half if we're getting technical.
Just make it a little more difficult. Why not?
As we said, Kyle, U of T winning the last 2 Red and Blue Bowls, and then, of course, no game in 2020. But 2019 through 2017 was all York. So here's a handoff to Alunga as he is hit hard by number 49, Elia Lini. But it's enough to maybe worry a little bit less about a safety.
By like a yard or so, but hey, you know what? Positive yardage.
Second and 8 coming up for the Lions from their own 7.
And not quite sure who's down there. Hopefully it's not Melkus Alunga, just given some of the injury issues he had early this season. But that was a tough hit to take.
Was indeed a big hit from Lini. The excellent York medical staff attends to our wounded Lion. Yeah, it's really been a game of runs in the Red and Blue Bowl for the last few years, as York won 3 in a row from 2017 to 2019, and that was to end a Toronto run of 4. York winning 1 in 2012 to interrupt another Toronto run of 4, and before that, from 1996 to 2007, York winning 11 in a row.
Look at that quick math. Not too shabby.
Well, I didn't actually count. I'll count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I may have miscounted.
Wait, what?
And our I haven't
I was wondering
confirmed
how you got
12
to
in a row.
13 there.
I'm such a big York Lions fan that I wanted to give them an extra red and blue ball. As a round of applause for number 77 on the Lions, Evan and Sue, as he makes his way off the field with the help of the York staff.
Yeah, tough game in the trenches given how things have kind of gone in some of the pass protection and such.
So once Ansu is able to get to the sideline, we'll be ready for a 2nd and 8 from the 7. The clock starts to tick once again. Jupe does indeed look to throw, and he's looking to throw deep. He's got Avante McCoy, and it's caught. No, they're not able to take it all the way to the ground. Was Avante McCoy, as there were 2 members of the University of Toronto all over him. He did well just to get his hands on the ball in the first place, and it looked like he was going to bring it in, but he couldn't control it all the way, and that's the second really unfortunate drop for this York Lions offense. That would have been a massive play with 2 minutes 35 left to go in the half.
Yeah, and that's a tough grab to try and make for McCoy. We know that he can make some spectacular catches. But a tough one there, trying to spin your body, make the grab with 2 defenders right on you. Good toss there by Jupe to get it downfield and get it in a spot where you can at least give your receiver a chance to make a play. But tough situation now here, punting out of your own end zone, and might be a situation where they might just take the safety.
Yeah, that's what we typically tend to see. And the low snap is going to cement it as Tucker Almert waits for the Blues to get there before he takes the knee.
Why not?
So that'll put 2 more points on the board. We'll hit an even 40 for the University of Toronto in this first half with 2 minutes 20 seconds left to go. If you're wondering about margins of victory, the best I can tell is September 13th, 2014, when the U of T beat the York U's 70-0. That seems to be our most one-sided ever Red and Blue Bowl. Lions will no doubt be looking to avoid something like that here.
Yeah, and we'll see kind of how things go from here, but U of T grabbing the ball from their own 35 and 2:26 to work with here in the first half.
Williams back in behind Barnett. Is Barnett very happy to throw against this York defense, and there's a complete pass out to number 88, Denaden Lee Daniel. And Lee Daniel, a nice catch there and able to move the chains as the U of T Blues approach their own 50.
Yeah, 6'2", 190 freshman out of Vancouver. That's his first career catch in the OUA. And again, like I said, on that last drive, the nice thing about some of these, or I should say the silver lining to some of these blowout games, is that some of these young players get an opportunity to play in the OUA when otherwise they kind of have to wait 2 or 3 years to get some game action. So nice to see some young players.
There's a handoff to Williams with a ton of room to run. Adam Williams eventually taken out, but not before he picks up a massive chunk of yardage. And like you said, Kyle, a big congratulations to Denaden.
Yeah, big run up the gut there. And again, this is something that we haven't really seen from the Varsity Blues this season. Williams does have a long of 34 coming into this game, but averaging 5.3 per carry, 29 rushes for 154 yards. A bit more of an explosive back than the typical starter, Lucas Stoikos, but we've seen a little bit of both backs this season and a little bit of different flavor of both, even though they're listed at roughly the same size.
Barnett looking to throw. And he might be looking for the end zone. He is. He's got a man, and it's picked off again. Back-to-back interceptions for the York Lions. That was Avante McCoy.
How about that?
The gadget player gets a little more gadgety as he goes out there on defense and makes up for his drop. He says, I might drop him when I'm a receiver, but I'm picking him off when I'm a cornerback. What a play by Avante McCoy.
Oh, you love to see that. Great to see McCoy getting in and making a big play like that. He's such an important part of this offense. He's played quarterback this season. He's played running back. He's played slot back. He's played wide receiver. He's played corner. I'm surprised they haven't thrown him out there to kick a field goal or something like that. But no, McCoy, excellent season, just kind of playing a little bit wherever they need him to. And a big play there in the end zone. Again, just giving you some momentum as U of T tries some stuff out, tries some big plays and whatnot. It's always nice to see some players make some plays.
Absolutely. Maybe a case of go for it-itis from Barnett there. And Braden Jupe's got a case of it himself as he wants to go way long, just out of the reach of receivers and defenders alike. Braden Jupe showing off the strength in his 6'7" frame.
Yeah, airing it out there. And I guess why not at this stage of the game? You got a $138 to work with here in the first half and kind of haven't really been able to move the ball the same way you were when Owen Webb was in. He was kind of making some of those short yardage plays, some quick throws and such. Hasn't really been the case with Jupe in the game. He's missed a couple of those throws, put himself in some bad situations, and so why not air it out and see if you can get a couple of plays from your receivers.
Jupe looking to throw again. This one's out wide. Waiting for it was Malachi. And Malachi Morrison makes the catch, but not able to make much happen after it. That'll bring up third down.
Yeah, it is going to be a punt. I was going to say this is a curious spot to kind of see what you do, but again, with the score being what it is, risk reward, just kind of get the game, move it along type situation, and we will see a punt here from deep in their own territory.
Yeah, you have given me a goal for the rest of this game though, which is to see Avante McCoy kick a field goal.
See, that's what I'm saying. The man can do it all.
He deserves the chance. Hopefully, from our lips to the coaching staff's ears. Here's Tucker Almert, who has also deserved a chance, and he's done well in the punt game today. Caught by Green. No yards flags do fly.
Nice little punt there to get him cornered to the sideline, though.
Absolutely. And they'll add 5 yards onto the end.
Pretty much set you up right at midfield. That'll give a minute 17 for U of T to work with. Again, since the score is kind of out of reach, we've seen them kind of be aggressive and kind of trying some stuff downfield. It's kind of bit them the last couple of drives with a couple of picks. But at this point of the season, the score, stuff like that, that's stuff that doesn't really matter too much for U of T in the grand scheme of things. And again, at this point, it's kind of just getting some live reps, trying to do some different things, see who can make some plays, see kind of what works and what doesn't.
The penalty does move the Blues past midfield into York territory. And yeah, it's been a rough year for this Blues offense. You can't blame them for wanting to air it out a bit. Barnett hands it off to Williams. Adam Williams taken down quickly by Sterling May. Nicely done there from the young defensive end.
Yeah, great tackle there, especially given on that last drive where Williams busted it out for a big gain. Good job to stop them there on first down and at least force them to make a play here on second down.
Indeed, the Blues will have to do that. 2nd and 9 from the York 45. And it seems like we'll have to see Barnett look to throw. So a test here for the York secondary that's come up with interceptions on the last 2 drives. Barnett is looking to throw. Scott Barnett inching up in the pocket, and now he wants to run. Oh, and he's hit from behind. The ball pops out. Sterling May all over this defensive possession. Clobbered Scott Barnett. Popped that ball right out. Luckily for Toronto, they fell on the ball, but it is going to bring up a third down.
Yeah, great play there by May. Saw the quarterback stepping up. He saw a little bit of green, and Sterling May took it right away. Very, very impressive play. And Sterling May as well made the play to stop Adam Williams as well. A nice little back-to-back plays there from Sterling May. One of the leaders on this defensive unit, especially with J.J. Messier missing so much of the season.
So it's punt time here for Hankey, who's only been kicking so far. Alfred Olay gets to return a punt when he's only returned kickoffs. That kick almost blocked. And nothing happening there for Alfred Olay on the return.
Given the field position, given the time on the clock, I wouldn't be too surprised to see just a kneel to end out this half. But you know what? The score being what it is, I also wouldn't hate if they just kind of air it out and see what happens.
Nothing wrong with seeing what happens. That's what I always say. 21 seconds is the time in question that Kyle was referencing. As the Lions do have a long way to go to try and set up some sort of field goal, but we have seen the arm talent of Braden Jupe, and you've got a receiver like Retson Daly. I would go for it.
Yeah, why not?
And they don't line up in the kneel down
let's
formation.
go. Here we go.
York Lions want to put some points on the board for the home fans. It is a conservative throw out to Daly. Retson Daly breaks a tackle and gets out of bounds. Only burning a few seconds off the clock. Still 15 seconds left to go.
Hey, that's exactly the type of play that you need to make there. You got some time to work with. Try to move the ball downfield a little bit and see what kind of plays you can make. And you got second and medium here. Of course, you're mainly concerned about moving the ball way down the field to at least get in position to score some points. But got to do it a little bit at a time and only shave 5-6 seconds off the clock. Might as well do it.
Blues look ready to rush 4.
Yeah, a lot of DBs out here given the time on the clock and kind of the situation.
Just 2 linebackers along with the 4 members of the defensive line. And Jupe is looking to throw deep. Throws short instead. Oh, nice catch there by Zdebski. Dane Zdebski reached behind himself and pulled that one in with just one hand.
Hey, if there's been some bright spots or silver linings or whatever you want to call it this season on the offensive side, Dane Jepski, as a freshman, has kind of stepped into this team and made some impressive plays on offense. So I think there's a player there to really build on the next few years. Of course, being a very young player stepping into the OUA in this really tough offensive situation, I think there's a player you can really build on if you can have Zdebski here for 3-4 years and kind of build an offense with him in it. I think that he can do some really impressive stuff in his OUA career.
Absolutely. The first year out of Calgary, Alberta. And the Lions did call a timeout as soon as the tackle happened. So 7 seconds left to go now in the first half. York just trying to get into range to do something. Maybe time for one more quick pass to the sideline.
You'd be cutting it close there. 7 seconds here.
Jupe is looking to throw. Pressure comes. Braden Jupe gets out of there. It's a screen to Alunga. Alunga reels it in. Crosses the 50. Can't quite get to midfield, and the referee does signal that a timeout was called. The clock hit 000s, and the 2 teams do head to their tunnel. So 40-0 the score here at the half. Lions with a good drive, but it just runs out of time. So we will take a break. We will be back for the second half. My name's Griffin Porter. Alongside me is the great Kyle Cushman. You're watching York Lions football on OUA.TV. Second halftime here at York Lions Stadium. Thank you all for coming back for the second half. We're glad you're here. We're certainly glad to be here. As Tucker Almert kicks it away. It's a short kick that is immediately caught by Dawson Elliott and kneeled. Elliott didn't get a chance to run with that one, unfortunately, and it'll be U of T ball right around the 39-yard line. And we do see Scott Barnett come out to start the second half, so eyes back on the record books.
Yeah, no kidding. And not sure if they were trying some, have onside kick, maybe trying to catch U of T off guard there, but because I haven't really seen maybe a full reason not to kick all the way back. They've done a pretty good job of kick and punt return coverage today, but we'll see U of T start from about the 39.
That they do. Stoikos up the middle, eventually tackled by Dexter Sargent. Nicely done there from the York linebacker, who's been a bright spot this season.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of Stoikos, seen a little bit of Williams in today's game, and Stoikos definitely a thumper up the middle, but he's busted out a couple of solid gains here today.
Indeed he has. Second and 1 for the Blues. They look to get the second half started with a good note, and it goes back to Stoikos. Lucas Stoikos with the first down and much, much more, plunging across the York 50 to the York 45.
Yeah, and that's a tough man to bring down. Nathan Brennan, the big nose tackle, of tracking back to eventually bring him down, but broke 2-3 tackles there. Impressive stuff from Stoikos.
Lucas Stoikos has looked great running against this York defense here this evening. If you're just joining us, it's 40-0 in favor of the U of T Varsity Blues. And a couple of goal line interceptions by the York Lions, keeping it from being even more lopsided. Both teams have thrown 2 interceptions. Aside from that, Scott Barnett has been excellent as he swings that one out to one of his favorite targets, and Nigel Lagood, Nigel Lagood.
Yeah, and it's something where in today's game, it was pretty close coming out of the first quarter. 10-0 game for the Varsity Blues. It looked like the Lions were in this game for sure, and then a couple of miscues, a pick six, and quickly it turned back the other way to all too familiar feeling for this York Lions team this season. But again, going into the second half, it's more trying to figure out what you can do in terms of certain situations, and the goal of the second half has to be get some offensive points on the board for this team here at home.
There's another nice catch and run for the Blues, as that was number 85, Thomas Roberts, the first year out of British Columbia, who was able to haul that in and pick up another first down as the Blues start to march once again.
Yeah, and just constantly, all day long, it's essentially been the Varsity Blues getting to do whatever they want on offense. There's been a lot of consistent running. They've been able to air it out downfield. There's been a couple of end zone interceptions that has kind of broken it up a little bit, but for the most part, there's been no stopping this Varsity Blues offense.
There's a handoff to Stoikos. Stoikos bounces off a tackler, and he's often trying to get to the edge. Lucas Stoikos eventually hit hard. Taken out. Avante McCoy out there getting plenty of defensive reps, and he just cleaned up Lucas Stoikos, and Stoikos is injured on the U of T sideline.
Serious here. That was a tough collision on the sideline.
We also have an injured Lion down on this side of the field. Wasn't able to make out a number, unfortunately. Lucas Stoikos is back up to his feet. It's a quick huddle up for the York Lions defense. They get some coaching from the sideline. We're going to take a break while we get our injured Lion back to his feet. We'll be right back. So Nathan Brennan is eventually able to make his way back to his feet. Graduating player. We do have some first half numbers. We're just a little over 2 minutes into the second half, but I'm going to throw some numbers at you, Kyle.
Here we go.
So obviously we know the score, 40-0. 3 throwing touchdowns for Scott Barnett. He's one away from tying the Red and Blue Bowl record.
Could be coming up soon.
Could be coming up on this very play. Barnett is indeed looking to throw. Scott Barnett, complete. That one caught and eventually tackled. Nicely done. Oh, the ball comes out.
We'll see if they're called down, but the ball did come out there.
They will say that the ball did not come out in time, unfortunately for the York Lions. So Christopher Joseph with the catch and run. Our first half total yardage was 346 yards for the U of T Varsity Blues, 141 for the York Lions. A lot of that came in the rushing yard difference. 108-16 was the rushing yards in favor of the U of T Varsity Blues.
Yeah, and just for some context here, U of T on the season had averaged 214 yards per game total. So some impressive stuff from the Varsity Blues in the first half.
Third down here. Williams runs up the middle. I think he got enough.
Yeah, second effort, I think, that pushed him through.
Nicely done there by Adam Williams. And, of course, the big stat, just 2 incomplete passes for Scott Barnett in that first half.
Technically not incomplete. They didn't hit the ground.
They were both intercepted. So the 2 incomplete passes for Barnett in the first half were both interceptions. He still hasn't had a pass hit the ground yet today. Of course, 2 of them were just caught by the wrong team.
Hey, as long as someone catches them.
I think he'd rather they hit the ground in those cases.
You know.
And so once again, Devin Dinsaw.
Yeah, tough game for him.
Yeah.
Trying to power through, you love to see it. Offensive linemen don't get the love that they deserve, and trying to power through today against a big rival and trending towards a big win as well.
6'1" lineman out of Oakville, Ontario, gets to the sideline. And so first and goal from the 9-yard line. Williams in the backfield with Bennett. Barnett. And Scott Barnett has room to run. Lots of flags fly.
There's definitely some early movement on the line. We'll see which way this penalty goes.
It is against the Blues, so first and goal from the 9 becomes first and goal from the 14, and the Lions get a few more yards to work with.
Maybe opens it up a little bit more for maybe a passing play to the end zone as Barnett looks to tie the Red and Blue Bowl game record.
And off to Williams, into the pile, making his way through, eventually brought down, but more than he had any right to get.
Yeah, impressive effort there, especially given the state of the game. It's pretty easy just to go down on first contact if you really want to, but both of these backs, Stoikos and Williams, whoever's been in the game, have been very impressive at battling through kind of these first contact plays and getting a couple extra yards when really they should be able to.
So that'll bring up second and goal. Looks like it's about the 8-yard line that the Blues will be going from. It's a play action. Complete. And just stopped short of the goal line is Nigel LeGood. They'll mark him down around the 1-yard line. What a great piece of tackling from this York secondary.
Yeah, great job to prevent him from getting in. We've seen some of these receivers, after they make the catch, are kind of able to get away from some of these DBs and kind of get in. Nice job to stop him short, and it's going to set up a very tough third and goal situation.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, Avante McCoy out there, not just in like certain situations, he's basically played
No,
every
he's-
defensive snap of this third quarter. The man is doing it all for York. We'll see who wants to make a play here on 3rd and goal from the 1. The Blues are going to go for it.
Shotgun as well.
They're going to hand it off to Williams, who finds the end zone. So a touchdown for the University of Toronto Blues. They take a 46-0 lead, and that's the rushing touchdown for Adam Williams.
Yeah, second of the year for him, if I'm not mistaken, and getting one on the board as well, with Stoikos also getting one in today's game. And yeah, the way that the Varsity Blues have run so far today, the 1 yard was looking pretty simple to get for this team. They've been able to piece together some pretty impressive runs all day long.
That they have Adam Williams, the 5th year, able to score a touchdown in the Red and Blue Bowl. Love to see that for the 5th year running back. And the PAT is good to bring us up to 47-0. And we'll get our first look at this York offense in the second half. Of course, if you did miss the first half, Owen Webb was injured on a clean but hard hit that he took while throwing a pass. And I am not currently seeing him on the sideline. It looks like we'll see more of Braden Jupe here in the second half.
I'd be very surprised if we saw Webb play again today, just from a precautionary standpoint, just given the violence of that hit, helmet popping off, slow to get up, all that kind of stuff. Especially with the score being the way it is, stuff like that. Let the young freshman get his reps and kind of take a seat for the rest of this game and make sure everything's all good.
Kick is away from Hankey. We'll see what Alfred Ole has in his bag of tricks as he can't get around the first tackler, and he only gets it out to around the 29.
Yeah, solid return there from Ole. Nothing spectacular, but a good enough return to get you up at about the 30-yard line. And again, on some of those returns where you don't have a big lane open up or anything like that, you're just looking to get decent enough field position, not start at your own 15 or 20 or anything like that. And Ole does exactly that and gives a little bit of room to work with for Jupe and crew.
And I think we know exactly what we want to see from Braden Jupe in this York offense in the second half, throwing the football.
Air it out, baby.
It's looked good at many points here in the first half. And there's a flip to Alfred Ole. Ole's got some good blockers, and he's trying to get around and set an edge. Eventually is swarmed by Luca Pante, who had that pick 6 earlier in the game. But that time is just limiting Ole to a couple of yards.
Yeah, and a nice little creative play. We haven't really seen too much of the kind of jet sweep, kind of creative type rushing plays in today's game. We've seen quite a bit of it over the course of the season, but not quite in today's game. And getting a little bit crafty rather than trying to run it up the gut again, which hasn't really been successful in today's game. Getting a little bit different to at least get the running game open a little bit.
So it's second and medium for Braden Jupe, and he looks to make the quick throw. It is caught by Avante McCoy, and that's a first down for the York Lions. As Avante McCoy flips himself back up to his feet.
What a player, Avante McCoy, making plays on defense, making plays on offense. Arguably, I don't really think arguably, one of the MVPs of the season, has the highlight of the season for the York Lions as well.
Brilliant touchdown catch. I know exactly what you mean.
At Waterloo in week 2, and doing some good stuff today. Has the interception and looking to move the chains and doing some good stuff on offense as well.
We do have Braden Parker on the U of T side, just being helped off by a member of the training staff. So hopefully nothing too serious for Parker. And we're just about ready to get back into the action here. 7 minutes and counting left to go in the third quarter. The York Lions crowd making some noise. They just want to see some home points on the board this season. Melkus Alunga wants to see that exact same thing as he runs forward and picks up 4 or 5 yards on first down.
And again, those are kind of the plays that you want on first down, where you get some yardage, get yourself into a situation where it's second and manageable. So much this season, the offense has kind of struggled to get things going on first down, gives you a long distance on second down, and you're doing that over and over again. You're not going to have much success. So getting a good run like that on first down at least sets you up for something on second down. And what we've seen so far in today's game, at least, is around midfield. In these second down situations, it's looking like 3 to go and kind of going for it in these situations. So we'll see what happens here from the Lions, whether they're aggressive and take a shot or something like that at pretty much midfield, or what the case is if it's 3 down territory, that kind of stuff.
Second down territory right now. And Jupe picked. His pass was almost picked off, but it was just broken up. Luckily hit the grass, and no movement on the sidelines for the York Lions. We're going to see the offense go for it here on 3rd and 4 from their own 50. I like that.
Yeah, no surprise. We saw them do it early in the first quarter in a much more dangerous situation when the game was close, kind of a similar situation in terms of the field position, and so no surprise to see them line up to go for it here on 3rd down.
3rd and 4 from the York 52 to be precise. And Jupe will look to throw for the first down. Now he'll look to run for it as the pressure comes. Braden Jupe dives for the line, and it'll come down to the spot, but the initial signal is for a first down. It does look like they spot him at the U of T 53, which is exactly what he needed. Great situational awareness from Braden Jupe to know exactly where that line to gain was. No yellow line like you see on the TV, folks. Braden Jupe just knowing where he was in relation to the sticks.
Yeah, no, impressive stuff from Jupe to run it. We haven't seen him run too much this season, so good stuff there, diving for the first down. I thought he was maybe just short, but a good spot and moves the chains.
6'7". There's a lot that gets dove when Braden Jupe tends to dive, as Malchus Alunga tries to spin, but does get hit by number 95, Jack Marsland, who finished that one off. We do have a bit of a tangled up pile of limbs in and among the point where the offensive and defensive lines meet. And they'll say that was a gain of 3 for Malchus Alunga.
Yeah, and sets up a second down and 7 or so, and a situation where we'll probably see Jupe throw the ball. He ended up running for the first down last time. We'll probably have to see the arm talent on this one to move the chains.
And we have definitely seen sort of, I would say it's a raw arm talent, but there's definitely arm talent in that right arm of big Braden Jupe. We'll see if he can line one up. Retson Daly, been a big part of the York Lions offense today, does get the ball on the near side. Got a block. It's a screen for Daly, but he makes a man miss, eventually trying to push forward. He'll wind up about 2 yards short of that first down, and we're going to see the offense stay on the field.
Yeah, great blocking on that play from Alfred Ole, at least giving Daly a chance to get a couple extra yards. And again, when you're in 3 down territory, that's the kind of stuff that you're looking for on second down. You don't necessarily need to get it all when you know that you're going for it on 3rd down. Give yourself a chance to make it on 3rd down. A nice little play to Daly there, get a couple extra yards with some good blocking. Sets you up with 3rd and basically a yard, maybe a little bit less.
It is 1 yard to go for the York Lions here on a big 3rd down for their offense. And the ball goes to Malchus Alunga. U of T brings the pressure, but I think Alunga was able to reach across the line, and it is another first down on 3rd down for York, according to our eagle-eyed officiating crew.
Yeah, and that's a tough play there when it's a player like Malchus Alunga going up the gut, and the defense knows it's going right up the gut. But a good job there to spin out of one. But a tough scene now is Avante McCoy, who's had such a great game playing on both sides, making some plays, is down in some discomfort.
Yeah, and we see the co-head coaches making their way out there to check on Avante McCoy. That is a shame. We're going to take a short break while they attend to McCoy and be back in just a moment. So some bit of dismay on the York sideline there as the ever-popular Avante McCoy is helped to the sideline by the training staff. So we'll keep an eye on him, looking to deal with some sort of knee or foot injury. Hopefully all okay there for Avante. As Braden Jupe looks to throw on first down. He's got a man deep. It's Alfred Ole. Just a bit of bumping and crashing between Ole and number 34, Antonio Conti. And it is going to be a defensive holding called against the U of T Varsity Blues. So it's 5 yards and an automatic first.
Best field position of the day?
Yes. Or actually, they were moved more than 5, so I think. Not sure if it was a defensive hold or a defensive pass interference, but it all comes out in the wash with a York Lions first down from the U of T 27-yard line. The Lions looking closer than ever to their first home points of the season, and it's a run to the outside by Melkus Olunga. He gets past one tackler, and then eventually 2 more Blues come over to make the stop. Number 97, Parker Williams, there to finish that one off, and it'll set up a 2nd and 7 or so.
Yeah, and just trying to rack the brain a little bit, which we've established today. Maybe the memory isn't the best between the two of us, but the best field position I can remember at home this season for the York Lions, week 1 against Western, there was a play where they were just shy of the red zone, took a shot to the end zone. It was intercepted, so ultimately no points on the play. But I think this is the best field position that they've had at home since that week 1 play.
It'll be 2nd and 9. Oh, no, I think it should be more than that. The scoreboard showing 2nd and 9, but it looks more like 7 as Jupe looks to throw. Pressure coming. Braden Jupe's got to escape the pocket. He rolls out right. Nothing happening, so he's just forced out of bounds. Maybe a loss of a couple on the play for Braden Jupe, and that'll set up 3rd and long, and we are going to see the kicking team come out.
Long attempt here.
It will indeed, and of course Nathan Walker, the regular kicker and punter for this York team, out today, not dressed, so it'll be Tucker Almert, who has done a great job in the punting role, who's going to try and kick through a 35 or so yard field goal to give York their first home points of the season, give us our first chance to call some York points all year, Kyle. And it's going to be a 36-yarder for the left.
Here
Tucker
we go.
Almert. Oh, it's a fake.
No.
I believe York may have jumped the gun on the snap and tipped their hand. I don't think the officiating crew was ready for the ball to be snapped. And now there's going to be more personnel changes.
No, now they're just going to go for it. But, oh, man, I was pumped up for the fake. Oh,
that
no.
That was an exciting moment. The Lions just jumping the gun a little bit. So the coaching staff says, you know what? We're not taking the easy, well, maybe not easy, but
no, that would have been a tough field goal.
Yeah, that would have been a long kick, but we're not taking the 3. We're here to go for majors, Kyle, here at York University. We're here to score touchdowns, and that's what Braden Jupe is going to try to do. Well, his main goal is going to be to pick up 9 yards in this first down. And it's a play action, and the ball is fumbled. And Lunga and Jupe couldn't successfully execute the play action, and the U of T Blues fall on the ball. It would have been a turnover at that spot no matter who fell on the ball, but it was technically the University of Toronto
That's a tough
that
one.
got it, and the play action just goes awry. I don't even know why you're really play actioning. You're probably not running on 3rd and 9. I'm not sure who you're getting to bite on that.
Oh, that's a heartbreaker. That's a tough one.
My
to swallow.
heart is broken in the booth, and we've got a new quarterback into the game for the University of Toronto Varsity Blues, as there's a completion to Nick Green, and it's Kinsale Phillip into the game, the 3rd year out of New Westminster, British Columbia. A lot of British Columbia representation.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of BC boys on this U of T roster, and I guess we're not setting any new records. We're just matching them here today.
Yeah, Scott Barnett not going to get a chance to shatter that U of T York rivalry record. But Kinsale Phillips, certainly someone who OUA fans will know well. He's been around this U of T program for a few years now.
Even this season he's played quite a bit.
Yes, exactly, and another dual threat option for the Lions to be aware of. Phillip hands it off to Stoikos. And there's eventually a tackle. Nathan Brennan getting over there once again. He's had a great game. Pardon me, that was Garrett Ellis, not Lucas Stoikos. So that'll be a first down for the Blues.
Yeah, and again, at this stage of the game, getting some backups, getting some younger players into the game, and always nice to see some of those players get at least some game reps, of course, putting in a lot of work and prep and practice and things like that, and maybe not getting the shine of the starters and stuff like that in most weeks, and having an opportunity to show the coaching staff what they got in game action.
Phillip looking to throw on first down. He's got a man deep. It's Green. Not able to bring it in was Nick Green. That would have been a spectacular catch as he had a step or two against Matthew K. Mitchell. But in the end, just an incomplete pass.
Had a step.
Yeah, and that is the first incomplete pass of the day, aside from the interceptions,
Wow,
of
that's
course,
right, yeah.
for the University of Toronto Varsity Blues.
Burnett gets out of it with with no balls hitting the ground.
No balls hitting the ground. That's how we really measure incomplete passes out
Exactly.
here.
That's our stat.
2nd and 10 for the last play of the third quarter.
Bringing some pressure here.
Pressure does come. Phillip still has good time. Tries to throw, just avoids the pick. That was Winston Coor who almost brought that one in. But that'll bring out the punt squad to start the fourth quarter. Good job by the York Lions. Only allows 7 points in that third quarter. We're going to take a short break. We're going to be back with the fourth and final quarter of the York home season here on OUA.TV.
Congratulations to our fan of game winner, Shane, who spotted cheer loudly all game long. All right, you're ready.
All my life I've barely spoken. Your words have been so broken. I've been under your hypnosis. Why did I sip that potion? I'm so done with holy ghosting. My birth, it was an omen. Lay me down upon the ocean until you see no motion. Are you with me now? Said, are you with me now? Ain't felt this good in a while. They want us to simmer down. Can you hear me now? Am I going in and out? I stop and just look around to see if you're with me now. Tell me, are you with me now? Ready to put it down. Start at the bottom, already forgot them, but they won't forgive me now. You really ain't ready now. You haters just in the crowd. But still
Welcome back into the York Lions Stadium. Kyle, we got 15 minutes left.
I was going to say one final quarter. Can they erase that goose egg?
I've been watching sports a long time. As that punt almost
that was
blocked.
close.
Instead, it makes its way all the way down to Alfred Ole at the 30. Ole gets out to the 40 and out of bounds right around the 45. There are flags down. I've been watching sports a long time. I've rooted for a lot of different teams. I've rooted for a lot of different events. I really want this York team to be able to score some home points here. It's a great group of guys who have come out here in a tough season. They've come to practice every day. They have showed up for every game, despite some bad results on the scoreboard. They deserve some home points, and these home fans deserve to be able to cheer.
Yeah, you know what? Let's look at the date. Friday night, we're under the lights. Go in the huddle, say one thing. Clear eyes, full hearts. Can't lose, baby.
The
Come on, let's
Friday
go.
night
Let's put up some points here.
Shining down as this one's getting marched way back. Another unfortunate moment
You didn't even
for
say
Alfred
the flags
Ole.
this time. Oh, no.
There was a flag down. So, 1st and 10 from the 20. Braden Jupe, who has looked good in relief of Owen Webb so far today. A couple rough throws, but overall, very well done. And, of course, the unfortunate fumble at the end of the third quarter. Jupe rolls out towards us. Pass complete to number 9. That's a nice catch by the slot back Hayden Farrar, the first-year student out of Brampton, Ontario, or in his first year of OUA eligibility. He's a second-year student. I don't want to erase his first-year studies.
No, and Farrar's mixed in a fair bit over the season. He had one big game with a handful of receptions, and it's kind of mixed in depending on what slot backs are available and who isn't, but definitely a big target and somebody to watch over these next couple of years with the Lions.
So 2nd and 7 for Braden Jupe. Looking to throw. It is caught by Retson Daly. Daly got to get around a man. Does. Shakes off a hit. Going for the line to gain, and he gets there. Takes a little extra contact, even stepping out of bounds. Oh, they actually say Daly stepped out 1 yard short. Oh. That is unfortunate for Retson Daly, who has been more involved today than we've seen at home all season. It's been great to see some slant routes, some crossing routes to get the speedster involved.
Yeah, getting him involved some different ways. Of course, we've seen him mainly as a deep threat, and instead getting him involved in some of the short game here today and giving him some yards after the catch opportunities. But 3rd and short, go for it. Let's see what happens here.
I don't think we're going to see a lot of punting the rest of this game from the York University Lions. Jupe rolls out, pass deflected and caught. Alfred Ole takes it out to the York 46-yard line, and that's the 1 yard they needed and about 17 more after that. A nice catch and run from Braden Jupe to Alfred Ole.
I love that play call. Going right up the gut with the run is way too obvious. Pack in the house, you're going to have pressure in your face. That play's not going to work as often as you think in a 1 yard situation. Go the play action, air it out. Nice job by the York Lions.
Jupe has to escape. He's going to look to run. Doesn't. Throws it instead. A nice catch again by Farrar, and that will take it right out to about midfield. 1 or 2 yards to go for the Lions on 2nd down. This is the best we've seen the York Lions look at home all season, and aside from that one good game against Waterloo, this is the best we've seen them look all year.
Yeah, playing with some confidence, playing some hurry-up style, not waiting too much as U of T looking to bring the house here on 1st down, or 2nd down and short, sorry.
There is indeed some pressure. Jupe feels it. A flag flies. Braden Jupe breaks a tackle. Doesn't quite get the line to gain, and we'll see if he's going to have to do 2nd down again from farther away.
Yeah, you would think that's the expectation with a flag coming in the backfield and that kind of situation.
2nd flag flies. No flags. And so that will bring up 3rd down and 2 yard lines. Not even a glance towards poor Tucker Almer.
Yeah, he can take his seat on the bench at this point, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
And curious to see the play call here on the last one. They went play action, found the passing play. Do they go up the gut? Do they try to pass it again?
Ilunga in there with Jupe. Jupe shows it to Ilunga, doesn't take it. Braden Jupe instead flings it out. Farrar. Oh, did he hang on to that ball? Yes, he absolutely did. What a nice catch by Farrar. Hayden Farrar hung on to that despite a U of T defender getting the arm all the way in there, and that'll set up a 1st down for the Lions, who have looked great on 3rd down today. It's been mostly successful.
Yeah, something I wish that they've tried more often this season, just kind of the situations that they've been in, but very impressive play by Farrar there to hang on to that football. Easy to make that grab, not easy to hang on to it.
Jupe looking to throw again. Has to escape the pocket. Completes it to Retson Daly, who makes one man miss and then is ridden down right around the line to gain. So it'll either be a 1st and 10 or a 2nd and short. The York bench starting to get excited here. The coaching staff with some enthusiasm, as they have always shown all year, of course. And it is a 1st down for the York Lions. A good spot, and what a move by Retson Daly to generate that.
And again, seeing Daly used in a different way. Usually the deep threat, we've seen him kind of get the ball in some different areas and showing off the speed and shiftiness on that one to move the chain.
York crowd roaring their approval. And the play has been blown dead. And now it's blown back in.
Just making sure the whistle works.
Yeah. You got to test it out every once in a while. So, 1st and 10 for York from the 36-yard line of the U of T Varsity Blues. Caught by number 82, Dane Yazdebski. Moves it up across the Blues 30. That'll bring up a 2nd and 3 or so. And a very manageable 2nd down for the York Lions.
Yeah, and a great job by Yazdebski there to hang on to that football with a U of T defender trying to rip that one out. Good ball security there from the freshman.
So, second down for Braden Jupe. Ilunga, play action. Jupe looking to run. Now looking to throw. Has a man. Retson Daly was completely blanketed. One would think you would see a flag fly, considering Retson Daly was hit as the ball came towards him. But the officials say nothing doing. That certainly seemed like Retson Daly was interfered with.
Yeah, tough one there. But again, third down situation. You got to take that one, move on from it, clear it from your mind, and go for it again here on third down. And again, the third and manageable. We haven't had third and long situations on this drive. It's been third and manageable. They've done it a couple of times, a little bit longer on this one, 3-4 yards to go.
Yeah, it's been the first down success.
Exactly, move it again.
So Jupe looking to throw. He's got a man quickly. Retson Daly didn't know the ball was coming. A miscommunication.
Flags in the backfield.
Between Jupe and Daly, but late flags down. We'll see if the York Lions are getting bailed out here. Multiple flags. And all eyes in York Lions Stadium on our lead referee. It is a personal foul against York, which is going to be a first down for the U of T Varsity Blues. Still 9 minutes, 41 seconds left to go in this one for a Lions offense that has looked good. They've been on the cusp of points a couple times today. If they had chosen to kick field goals, they might have some points already, but they say, no, this is the red and blue bowl. We're here for touchdowns, and I love it.
Yeah, and still a lot of time to work with. Still 9:41 on the clock, and probably still at least one drive, probably two, maybe even three. So we'll see how things go the rest of this game, but definitely a lot of positive thoughts to take out of that last drive.
Kinsale Phillip going to run off the read option, and he makes a couple men miss. Kinsale Phillip still going, legs churning. What a huge run by the quarterback, Kinsale Phillip.
Yeah, and there's a reason why these quarterbacks rank so highly on this team in terms of rushing yards and rushing attempts, stuff like that. It's for reasons exactly like that. It's not just Barnett, it's both quarterbacks that have been on the field this season that have been able to use their legs to move the chains, and we saw it in a big way on that last play.
Yeah, very late flag did fly at the end of that play. Chain gang setting up for 1st and 10 from the York 38, and no flag. So one thing we're seeing, the York Lions, after giving up 30 points in the second quarter, have only given up 7 in the entire second half. And I think that's because, well, one reason is that, of course, the defense has been wearing some of these big score lines this season, but the offense has not been able to kill a lot of time. They've been off the field quickly a lot this year, as there's a running play for the U of T Varsity Blues for just about a first down. They'll mark them a yard short. But now that we're seeing the Lions actually put some drives together and pick up some time on the field on offense, not only does it give the defense a rest, it also gives opposing offenses less time to work with.
Yeah, and it's a tough situation where there's been some of these moments throughout the season where games have kind of gotten away from the Lions in these 5-10 minute stretches, and you think about today's game, you think about that second quarter, especially the first 5-10 minutes there, you have a much cleaner situation there, and you could be looking at a very different ball game this entire second half. And instead, it's a situation where the game's a little bit out of hand, but some, again, silver linings to take out of this game, where outside of that second quarter has been pretty solid stuff from the defense and pretty impressive stuff from the offense, who have just not quite been able to finish things off.
Yeah, nice flip out there to Jack Nyrose, the second-year running back, for the first down. Hailing out of guess where? British Columbia, Kelowna to be specific. And number 45, Will Maloff, driver, will make his way to the sideline with the help of the U of T medical staff, but under his own power. Kinsale Phillip with a big fullback to his side in number 32, Quinn Mulligan. Mulligan now comes to the line of scrimmage, and it's a handoff and a big run. Oh, as that ball was almost stripped, a late flag flies. That was another nice run by Nyrose. And number 6 for the Lions, Lavone Fimakindi, had a hand in there. But it looks like they're going to bring this one all the way back.
Yeah, and Nairo's showing off some shiftiness and some speed there. Again, a player that hasn't got a lot of playing time this season, just the one rush on the season despite being active for all 5 games. And a situation where late in these games, these coaching staffs want to see some of these young players make some plays. Of course, this one's going to come back and end up being a long situation on this down. But overall, you want to see some of these players make some plays, and it's always nice to see some of these young players make an impact in some of the situations that they normally wouldn't get to play in.
Yeah, it was an illegal block call against the Varsity Blues there, so this will be a 1st and 20 for them from the York 35-yard line, and Phillip looking to throw. Kinsale Phillip now under pressure, a late flag once again. He whistles a throw to number 80, Jared Curry. But it is looking like it's going to be another penalty against the U of T Varsity Blues.
Yeah, I think this one's moving backwards. A lot of pressure in the face of the quarterback, and yeah, not too surprising to see a hold here.
Yeah, so that'll bring up 1st and 30 for the University of Toronto Varsity Blues. They keep getting marched backwards, and this is, I think it goes without saying, an important stop, maybe just for the morale of the York defensive Lions.
Yeah, certainly so. Not only is it a situation where it's a long distance, of course, to get the first down, but it's a situation where they've kind of moved themselves so far back that they're basically at a field goal range now as well. So situation where if you can get a true stop, maybe you can get a punt for something to happen and maybe prevent the U of T Varsity Blues from getting on the board again.
So 1st and 30, Phillip looking to throw deep. Got his man. And that's a nice catch by Christopher Joseph, who's had a couple good ones today. That'll turn 1st and 30 into 2nd and about 8, which would normally feel long, but not as much in this case.
No kidding. And hey, an impressive game from Joseph, who remains in this game as one of the handful of starters that is still getting in as a freshman on this team, again, out of BC. But an impressive game, had that great touchdown catch, has had some big plays in today's game, and definitely going to be a player that we see a lot more of over these next handful of years with the Varsity Blues.
2nd and 9 is the official ruling. Lions going to bring a pincer rush, and they do. They bring a lot of pressure. Phillip just gets the ball away, and it's not able to be hauled in by Denaden Lee Daniel. Had to come back to that one and unfortunately couldn't quite get it. Lee Daniel points to the scoreboard after a little bit of joshing between himself and Scott Bois. So a little bit of gamesmanship here between the two arch rivals from the city of Toronto.
Yeah, not too surprising, to say the least. But hey, a field goal try here to hit 50 for U of T.
6 minutes and 5 seconds left to go in this 4th quarter. It'll be Sam Hankey who's going to line up about a 30-yarder. U of T takes a timeout. Hopefully not icing their own kicker.
No, it looked like a situation where there was some confusion as to the personnel on the field, some people running back and forth, just making sure that you take the time to not take any silly penalties or make any errors or anything like that.
Hankey's had a perfect kicking day so far. And you want to be perfect with Alfred Ole lurking in the backfield and a lot of big personnel in for your field goal blocking.
Yeah, and a result of that timeout is kind of a situation where you ice your own kicker. Of course, not in a big pressure situation by any means, but it's always tough going out there to make a field goal after being on the sidelines for so long.
So it'll be 31 yards for Hankey. That one straight down the middle. So his perfect day continues, and the U of T Blues move up to an even 50, and York won't have to deal with the pressures of a kickoff return with 5 minutes and 58 seconds left to go.
No, they'll take over here and try to build on what was an impressive last drive, made some good plays on 3rd downs, things like that. A lot of positives to take from that drive. Try to keep them going here again. It's a situation where this team all season long has struggled on first down for the most part. This game has not been that case. They've been actually pretty productive on first downs, moving the ball, getting yourself in at least manageable situations on these second downs. So hopefully we see more of that on this drive with under 6 minutes to go and the home schedule this season for the York Lions, and still yet to get any points on the board here at the home stadium.
That is, I know it's a case of sort of reduced expectations and stuff, but I do almost feel like a York touchdown here would be a victory in this red and blue
you
bowl.
know what? The way that this season has gone, it's
As
kind of
silly
you
as
gotta
that
find
sounds,
you
yeah.
gotta find some of those little moral victories, and I think the reaction we would see on the sideline if they're able to score here, whether it be a single, whether it be a field goal, whether it be a major, I think that's something that everyone in this building would love to see.
I'd take a rouge.
I would.
I would love a
I
rouge.
would. One
No more
point all
Canadian
season-
ways
Hey, I'm
to
here
get
for
on
it.
the home
I'm here for it.
board. As we said, that home scoreboard has sat at 0 all year in what's been a tough season for the York Lions. They have 5 minutes and 58 seconds left to change that narrative. We'll see what Braden Jupe can do on 1st and 10 from his own 35-yard line after the made field goal by Sam Hankey. It's a handoff to Alunga. Melkus Alunga can't escape the clutches of Jeremy Sinclair. And it's a 2nd and long, which is exactly what York had done such a good job avoiding earlier in this second half.
Yeah, and it's tough where at this point of the game, it's tough to try and incorporate the run into your offensive strategy, but at the same time, you need to incorporate the run into your strategy in some capacity, but it is tough to have a run of no gain on first down or the first play of the drive to set yourself up at a 2nd and 10 situation.
They do say Lunga was able to get back to the line of scrimmage with his forward progress, so Jupe will look to throw on 2nd and 10. And now he escapes. Still looking to throw. He's got a man. Complete! And it's a great throw and catch to Darren Bumstead. And the York Lions march onto the U of T side of the field to the delight of a great crowd here for the Red and Blue Bowl.
Jupe looking like a veteran on that play. Some pressure coming in, stepping up, doesn't tuck it and run though. Keeps his eyes downfield and makes a perfect pass to Bumstead to move the chains and get into U of T's field position.
Jupe with the quick throw. That is intercepted and coming all the way back for the 2nd pick 6 of the game. In for the touchdown is Braden Parker, and that is a backbreaker. Not so much in the scoreboard, but just in the hearts and minds of the York University faithful.
Back-to-back games with 2 pick sixes for this U of T team. Of course, last week it was very important towards them beating McMaster at home. Today, not as important to the final scoreline with the offense cooking the way that it has. But now up to 11 interceptions on the season for this Varsity Blues defense with 4 fumble recoveries. They've done a great job all year long of forcing turnovers and creating some offense from the defensive side. It's something to look for next week potentially as well.
Definitely, as U of T does still have a chance at the playoffs here. They need a couple scores to break their way, but they're getting off in the right direction with what seems like it'll be a win against the York Lions today.
Seems like
You never know.
I don't
I've seen crazier
want to do the
things.
math on this one.
A true miracle it would be. So we've got an injured member of the Blues down on the field. Just wait for the staff to help out one of the big offensive linemen. And then 4 minutes, 19 seconds for a combination of Alfred Ole and Braden Jupe to try and move this York offense down the field.
And they were doing a good job of it on that last drive. And again, in this situation, you kind of have to take some shots, some risky stuff. And that one was jumped and taken back to the house, something that we've seen quite a bit the last couple of weeks from this U of T defense.
Yeah, U of T, of course, the defense also able to play a bit more aggressively with the big lead.
Yeah, you look last week, 106-yard return from Stewart and 86-yard return from Carter. So some big pick sixes last week. Again, this week, not as important to the final score line, but still good for the defense to kind of build on this morale and keep going.
That's Victor Raposo, who is helped to his feet and is going to get to the sideline. And so once the big fella gets safely to the U of T sideline, we'll be ready for kickoff. Ole and Barker back to return. Alfred Ole, I think, has ditched one of his trademark arm sleeves. He's down to just one. I feel like he usually has two.
I honestly don't remember right now.
You have not been keeping track of Alfred Ole's fashion decisions the same way that I have this year. Clearly, Kyle.
I'm not the same fashionista you are. I'm sorry.
All I know is that Alfred Ole, always one of the coolest looking players on the field, as he streaks up the sideline. A squib kick will still find its way to Alfred Ole, but a little more time for U of T to get down the field. Ole can't quite get to the 30, so not quite as much of the magic as we saw last year in the Red and Blue Bowl from the great Alfred Ole, but certainly not much of an opportunity there with the low kick.
Yeah, of course, one of those situations where, especially with the score line, we've seen quite a bit this season where teams have tried a bunch of different ways to kick the ball and not have it land in Alfred Ole's hands. I remember week 1, it was the penalty parade for Western. We've had some squib kicks. We've had some kicks to different directions and whatnot. And here today, Ole picking up a squib on that last one.
Yeah, and also when a game sort of gets out of hand like that Western one did, kickoffs are just generally very dangerous plays with high-speed collisions. As Alfred Ole can't reel that one in, unfortunately. Pass from Braden Jupe was well placed, but just rattled around in the arms of Alfred Ole and eventually did touch grass. So that'll bring up 2nd and 10. You got to figure the Lions are basically playing American football at this point. They're going to use all 3 downs. Except they don't get to punt.
Certainly. It's the situation, right? Like, if this was week 3, for example, and you've still got a bunch more games to play and stuff like that, you probably just punt it in this situation. But it's your last home game. You got 3 minutes on the clock. The score doesn't matter whatsoever. 3rd down territory wherever you are.
Dumps it off to Alunga, and Melkus Alunga is going to pick up the 1st down and more. A successful 2nd down screen for Melkus Alunga as he swings it all the way out to the near sideline. Melkus Alunga jams on the brakes, is eventually taken out by number 36 for U of T, Jaden Russell Farquharson, as he was falling down and still made that tackle. But it's a massive gain for Melkus Alunga off a great screenplay. He came all the way from one side of the field to the other. And that'll bring up a 1st and 10 in U of T territory once again. 50 yards, just 150 feet between the York Lions and pay dirt.
Yeah, beautiful stuff from Melkus Alunga there. That's the stuff we know that he's capable of when he gets a little bit of space. Great to see him bust out a big catch and run.
Another screen out to Alunga. This time U of T ready for it. Melkus just gets to the sideline without much more. A flag flies maybe on a late hit, and so are the Lions going to get 15 yards of help on an unnecessary roughness, and Braden Jupe is limping to the sidelines right now. I saw him grabbing. He may have just been adjusting some equipment. Hopefully all okay with the young quarterback.
Yeah, it looks like it may be just some shoulder stuff, but does kind of check his footing there. But, yeah, getting some help from the U of T defense here, moving up the field. Well, here we go. Another situation where you're at it around the 30-yard line. They've been in this situation a couple of times, haven't been able to convert on it. We'll see if the York Lions, with just about 2:33 left in their home schedule this season, can pull it off and put some points on the board.
It is a 15-yarder personal foul, and Jupe flips it over to Alfred Ole on the jet sweep. Ole picks up a gain, and now he's got more. Alfred Ole, just taken down. A flag at the end of the play, but Alfred Ole right now as it stands has a 1st down for the Lions inside the 25, and now he might be a little shaken up as he was just grabbed while going full speed, and time is called out for an injured Alfred Ole. So we will check on the flag. We'll take a quick break. Ole already sitting up. That's good, but we'll just take a break while he's tended to and be back in just a moment. walk all the way across this wide Canadian field, flanked by members of the York medical staff, but under his own power. Hopefully all is right for one of the most dynamic players.
Yeah, it's always tough in these kind of blowout games late in the game when you see somebody get banged up a little bit. Obviously, it's a big moment for the York Lions still, but you never like to see people get hurt, especially in these situations where it doesn't mean too much to the scoreline, but obviously a big moment for these York Lions trying to do something that they haven't done all season at home.
2 minutes and 17 seconds left to go. The Lions stuck by 57, but it feels like this touchdown would be worth 60 if they can get it. They're inside the 30. Here's another jet sweep. It's to Jake Barker. Barker with some room to run, and he gets about halfway, eventually taken out by Brandon Thibodeau.
Yeah, Barker's somebody that they've used in a very similar role to Ole this season, and kind of the limited snaps that he gets when Ole's kind of off the field, and some of these jet sweep situations. He's the holder in these kind of fake kick situations. He's the return man beside Ole much of the time in the kickoff situation. So definitely somebody that they see a lot of promise with as kind of a gadget player in the similar way that they've used Ole these past few years.
2nd and 6 now for the Lions. Jupe looking to throw once again. That's complete. Yuzdepski makes a man miss. Dane Yuzdepski's got green grass in front of him. He's eventually forced out of bounds, but it's 1st and goal for the York Lions with 1 minute and 40 seconds left to go in the 4th quarter. They're so close, Kyle.
Hey, I've sung the praises of Dane Yuzdepski all season long. I loved him from the first time I saw him week 1 against Western here at York, and making some good plays again. He's been so creative over the middle, getting the ball, hanging onto the ball in some of these tough situations, making some guys miss, getting to the sideline, just short of the touchdown, but goal to go here for the York Lions.
Goal to go from the 9-yard line, and the first down play is a handoff to Melchus Alunga. He's taken down in the backfield. What a defensive play by Dylan Valovalida. That'll bring up 2nd and goal. Yeah, gotta think we're in 3-down territory, Kyle. We've been saying it all second half.
You are, but if you kind of just want to get points on the board, I can understand going for a field goal. But if you're this close to a touchdown, I understand.
You can't get this close and settle for the field goal in my eyes. Another injured member of the York Lions looking to be in some discomfort. Hopefully able to get that resolved quickly. And so, yes, 2nd and goal from the 11. It was a loss of 2 on that play.
Gotta imagine passing play here.
I think so. The passing offense has looked good for the York Lions today. There's been a couple unfortunate interceptions, but overall, Braden Jupe has looked very solid in relief of the injured Owen Webb.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say his best performance so far this season, where it started off a little bit shaky, but it's the most flashes that I've seen from him so far this season.
Absolutely. Lots of poise. He's been able to get out of collapsing pockets all
more mobile than I
evening.
expected for a 6'7" quarterback.
Yeah, he looks good on the move, but he also shows the presence of mind to not necessarily scramble for a few. Like, he'll get up to the line of scrimmage and then wait there, make sure he doesn't cross the line, and then throw it. It's great from the true first year.
Yeah, a lot of awareness, a lot of intelligence. It's the kind of attributes that we were kind of waiting a little bit to see so far from Jupe. There's a little bit of arm talent there, of course. We've seen him air it out deep and stuff like that. If he figures out some of the accuracy issues, particularly in some of the short game and medium range, I think that there's definitely a lot of potential here in Jupe and this York Lions offense. As, of course, the years will go by and gain more experience and get better and better. There's a lot to learn from this season, a lot of early reps that a lot of young quarterbacks wouldn't get, especially at his age. And so it's only beneficial for him to get these kind of experiences, go through this rough patch, get to go through the end of this season, and then take all of that and get to learn on it and build on it over the summer, or over the winter, I should say, go into the summer next year and see kind of what he can do at the beginning of next season as a sophomore. But definitely a lot of impressive stuff to take from Jupe, especially the way that he came into today's game with Owen Webb going down in such a violent, vicious fashion on that big hit from Stewart. Hopefully he's all good. Hopefully we see him back next week, stuff like that. But if he is sidelined, Braden Jupe has shown plenty in today's game to at least like him into the future for certain.
Absolutely. The pride of Nanoose Bay, British Columbia, looking good tonight. And I just wanted to take this opportunity. We had a great ceremony before the game, but one more time, we hit a minute 34 left to go in this home season for the York Lions, to shout out our graduating Lions, Braden Hart, who's had a good game at the linebacking position. JJ Messier, of course, the star defensive end. Lerone Lindsay, Hunter Bannon, and Nathan Brennan are 5 graduating Lions. And once again, a big thank you to them and their families and their loved ones for giving so much to this program over the last 4 or 5 or sometimes even 6 years with that 2020 in there.
A lot of guys that have done some great stuff with the York Lions over the past few years, but a big moment here coming up.
Indeed. 2nd and goal from the 11. The first year, Braden Jupe looks to pass. He's got his man out of reach of just about everyone. The calls in the booth for pass interference. Nothing happening, and that'll bring up 3rd and goal. And like we predicted, Kyle, not much of a look to the kicking team. And I spoke too soon. Here they come. So the York Lions, maybe if they had gotten up to first, 3rd and goal from the 5 or the 4.
Need a couple more yards.
Yeah, so unfortunate that there wasn't able to be a connection there. And it's Tucker Almert, not the normal kicker. And a shout out to Nathan Walker as well, who hasn't been able to play tonight, but has been doing great job with the punting all year for Nathan Walker. But it's been Tucker Almert this evening who will line up less than a 20-yard field goal. It's an 18-yard field goal for Almert. And the crowd will let you know. And I will, too, that the field goal is good. The York Lions get on the board at home in 2023. The crowd roars their approval. And this is a great show of support from the York Lions student body and friends and family as well. The ovation's still going.
It's 3, but it feels like 60. Awesome to see. This late in the home schedule with literally 1:02 on the clock to finally get some points on the board at home. It would have been really, really tough to finish off the home schedule without getting any points on the board. I know it's tough not to go on 3rd and goal and go for the touchdown or anything like that, but with 11 yards to go, that's a bit of a tough situation to try and force it. Instead, you take the field goal, you give your kicker the moment, and you give something for the crowd to cheer about. Great stuff.
And you know, a big ovation for a field goal in a 57-3 game might draw some sneers and jeers online, but for this group of guys who have come out here and given it their absolute all for York University this season, they've been proud to wear the red and white every single week, and even through some tough times in the schedule, they have come out here every single week, given it everything they had, and they deserved that moment right there.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because, of course, it's very easy to look at scores online and make jokes and reply and comment and all this kind of stuff. And it's well and fun. There's no bad intentions or anything like that. But at the end of the day, these are real kids. These are real students. These aren't, for the most part, 99% of the people on the field today are going to play OUA football and then probably never play football again. This is important stuff to them, and it's great to have a moment like that to get some points on the board and get a good cheer in front of your home fans.
Absolutely. There's the kickoff from Almert, the hometown hero here tonight. And here's a kickoff return for Nick Green as he finds room up the sideline and is taken out. I believe that was the kicker,
yeah,
Tucker Almert.
Tucker, attaboy.
Flag flies late. I certainly hope that wasn't for anything on Tucker Almert because that was a great tackle on a good return man. Tucker Almert. That wasn't your normal kicker tackle.
That was good stuff. He was watching some Pat McAfee highlights or something like that. That was a great tackle in some open space. I think that flag was further away from the actual tackle. There was some jawing and rough stuff from a couple of players, which you would expect in a rivalry game with the score the way that it is.
Yeah, it was a face mask call, so ball will be moved up 15 yards, and with 55 seconds left to go, we'll see if the U of T Varsity Blues want to go for any more points, and they don't. Oh, no, they're just huddling. I thought they were doing a real tight victory formation. I think they may still pull out the victory formation. No, this is a rivalry, folks, and we're going for more points.
Know, fair enough.
Kinsale Phillip wants to cover the spread here today. It's a handoff and a run up the middle. Oh, it's a run for the big fullback, Quinn Mulligan, the 5th-year player at Winnipeg, Manitoba. who's put in some great service for the U of T Varsity Blues. So maybe in a case of wanting to get the big guy a touch.
Yeah, why not? Get the big guy a touch, keep the rivalry game going, stuff like that. It is a situation where there's at least some time on the clock, so it's not like there's 10 seconds left or anything like that. So I can understand just trying to run up the gut, stuff like that. But.
2nd and 6 for the Lions. Hand off once again. The big number 32. He bounces it outside. Oh, is eventually met and tackled by Raekwon Lewis-Gibbs. And it's more rushing yards for Quinn Mulligan. So a shout out to Quinn Mulligan as he almost picks up the first down, but it's 3rd and about 3 with 23 seconds left to go. Kinsale Phillip will come out of the game.
And a big hit there from Lewis-Gibbs. Had the big interception earlier in today's game as well. So great to see him getting involved and making some big plays here late at home.
Quinn Mulligan charges to the sideline, showing off the wheels that we just saw in the 2nd down run.
3rd down situation, quarterback staying on the field.
Yep, Kinsale Phillip in there on 3rd down. And in there in the backfield is number 45, Will Maloff Driver, the other fullback listed on the roster.
He's going to let the clock wind down here. Oh,
there was actually a jump. I think that may have been a false start against the U of T Varsity Blues with 4 seconds left to go in the 4th quarter.
Okay, then.
Leaving the door open for a York comeback. They'll be pushed back by 5 yards. No, I may have given up on the York comeback.
I was going to say, the math is going to be tough on that one.
So it is indeed 5 yards backwards for the University of Toronto. They will bring the clock back in a moment. And this is going to be just about our last play of the broadcast. So a special shout out as the ball is handed off to Maloff Driver. Ooh. Oh, and he makes some contact.
Lewis-Gibbs again.
Yep. A special shout out to all of our technical people here at York University who have delivered you these 4 football games. And a shout out to all of you for tuning in. Thank you very much. It was a rebuilding year here at York. And the Argo Cup will be presented to the University of Toronto Blues for the 3rd year in a row. So a big congratulations to the University of Toronto and their student body and fan base as they capture that coveted trophy. And the best part about any rivalry games, a shake hands afterwards.
Yeah, that's always
maybe not the best part, but a good part.
It's one of the most enjoyable in terms of just you can have that kind of game and go back and forth and jaw at each other and have all these penalties and stuff like that, and then at the end of the day, the respect at the end of it. You love to see, especially from some students and some young kids like this.
So we are going to bid you adieu one last time from York Lions Stadium here in 2023 for the great Kyle Cushman. My name's Griffin Porter. Thank you all so much for tuning in with us this year. We will be back next year for more York Lions football. Thank you again.